program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey folks, this is Tim Murray from the College Football Betting Podcast, where I recently spoke with handicapper Brad Powers about which team had the most success.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
For PAFL football is the iMedia1 Network, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
It's time to kick back and listen to the sports page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia. 330-707-4202. Western Reserve Radio is the station you're listening to. That's the call-in number if you want to get in and talk about sports. We do it every Saturday morning here. And here is Western Reserve Radio from 9 to 12 today. A lot to get to. Look at the NBA playoff now. The play-in games start Tuesday. We'll get looking at the playoff picture in the NBA. Yes, there were a lot of players that sat out last night's game in the NBA. At least 168 did sit out. Not that none of it really matters because it doesn't really have any impact on what the playoff picture is going to be. There's seeding issues, and we're going to look at some of the seeding. Still not 100% sure. They do have one game left. NBA does not play tonight. They play Sunday, which I thought was strange, but they played a lot of games last night. They play all the balance of the games on Sunday, and that will end the season. The playoff or the play-in tournament, which I know there's a difference supposedly between the play-in and the playoffs. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as the playoffs. The play-in tournament is part of the playoffs as far as I see. What you're in, you can win it all. Playing Miami almost pulled it off a few years ago where they were a play-in team and ultimately got into the finals. But I believe that was the year. I'll have to go look it up. I didn't know, did they lose not to Denver, Dave Clark? That was the COVID year. Okay.
That was the COVID year.
That was the COVID year. That's right. They lost to the Lakers. So again, bottom line is I always say the playoffs start this Tuesday in the NBA. The play-in tournament is Tuesday, Wednesday. They're off Thursday. Friday is where they finish it up. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking, okay, then when you look at the actual play-in tournament, the way it's looking like now, it's not 100% set. It's close. Right now, the Clippers are sitting at 9. They play the 10 Warriors. The winner of that moves on to play the loser of the Suns and the Trailblazers. Then the winner of the Suns and Trailblazers goes in as the 7th seed. Right now, the Suns are sitting at 7. Trailblazers are at 8. Clippers 9, Warriors 10. That's how the West is playing out. The East is, I could tell you what it is now, but it can change because it's not 100% set. The only thing in the West is interesting. The Clippers and the Trailblazers can change. Right now, the Trailblazers have the 8th spot. However, if the Trailblazers lose Sunday, the Clippers win Sunday, they flip. Okay. Then the Clippers become the 8th seed. They would play the Suns, and then the Trailblazers would play the Warriors. So that game, that is not 100% set as seeding. All the teams, though, we talked about it last week, are in.
Mm-hmm.
They were in last week from 1 through 10 on both sides of the bracket. The other teams were out of it. The 5 remaining in each conference were out. There are 30 teams in the NBA. I've been listening to Mad Dog Russo. He's driving me crazy. He keeps saying 32 teams in the NBA. Thinking, how do you not know that? You're the sports guy. He knows more stuff that blows me away, but he keeps going on about there's 32 teams in the NBA.
He's getting it all mixed up.
He's got it with
NFL.
football because the NFL is 32 teams.
Yeah, that's all.
And I keep laughing because I keep saying, I call in, I can't get through, but I want to say it's 30 teams.
Yeah.
Well, it's important because 2/3 of the teams get in the playoffs.
Right.
And that's where this whole tanking thing is coming up now. Players are doing load management, and everybody's getting all stirred up about they don't play, they tank. And the players aren't tanking. It's the teams that are tanking. There's a big difference. The players go out to play their competitors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced the players aren't going out there to say, well, I don't want to win today. I'm not making this shot. They're out there. The players go out. The NBA guy, they all do. They're competitors.
Yeah.
Anytime you put, that's football, any sport, but you have guys that are suiting up, getting ready to play.
Yep.
They've got that competitive edge in them. They've played the sport all their lives, and they're going out there and they're going to win. I don't care who they are. They're going out to play hard, and they don't care.
Yeah, because, I mean, why would you do that when it can affect your career? I'm going to go out and play bad on purpose, but in a year or so, or maybe the following year, that team gets rid of me. Because there's a couple things now. They're showing that I have no integrity for the game or their team, so I go out and tank on purpose. Do you think somebody's going to give me a nice contract going forward? No. And so it makes no sense. Teams tank. They do different things. You might have something that comes from upstairs and say, hey, I don't want any three-pointer shot, or I don't want this. That could be a strategy that comes from upstairs that they don't do certain things. But to ask a guy to go out, miss shots, play bad defense on purpose, look foolish, no. I mean, what are you paying him? How much are you going to pay him? $1 billion to do that? You know, a couple $100,000 is not going to make them do that.
No,
it's insane.
They're out there.
Yeah, it just makes you look stupid. It doesn't nobody else. It makes you. I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it might be somebody that has that type of integrity, don't care, but I think that's far and few in between that would ever do that.
Yeah,
because I don't think it makes much sense to do that.
No, I
couldn't do it. I don't know how you do it.
That's especially with basketball. You're going up and down. You want to shoot. You want to outscore. You know, you're playing for the best shot. I don't think you're cognitively out there thinking, okay, unless you're throwing the game, unless you're in it, either a prop bet issue or you're intentionally going to miss a shot because there's a spread issue.
Yeah,
you don't want to cover the spread.
And if
go
that
back,
happens,
and that happens,
that's still your integrity to the game,
right?
And sometimes teams will disassociate with you, regardless of how good you might be. They don't want that part of their organization.
No. And now you have FanDuel, DraftKings, and all the betting people involved.
Mm-hmm.
This whole tanking thing, and now you have the people with the getting the money. That's just, that's a train wreck waiting to happen because you have people wagering money, and if the team is, quote, tanking, then people are almost to the point where you're getting it. The people are like, I'm not going to bet basketball because I don't really know. I'll bet playoff basketball because I think those, they're going to play hard.
Right.
But regular season, it's a crapshoot. If I think a team is going out there to intentionally lose, now I think teams are tired. They play they traveled.
Mm-hmm.
They're tired. They go out and maybe they're just not 100% because, again,
yeah,
they're trying, but they're just tired, and the other team has got a couple days off. They have their legs, the other team doesn't.
Right.
So you get into that where teams are going, if they're on the road, or they've played at home and then they go on the road and they play a road game after a home game, or vice versa, where they've played. Sometimes they do play back to back occasionally.
Yeah.
Not like they used to
Yeah,
when we grew up with the
they
NBA.
played a lot of back to back.
Yeah,
they did back
they
then.
did.
Yeah, a lot.
So the game, that part is not what it used to be. But, I mean, that's what I mean, the whole tanking thing. And here's the thing. They always talk about, well, they're tanking for a draft choice. Well, how many times, especially of all, because we're going to talk NFL draft, but how many times have we had that, especially the NBA? The drafting in the NBA, to me, is a total more of a crapshoot than it is in the NFL, because a lot of these kids are not like 19, 20 years old. They played a year in college, and now they're in the NBA. They're not even fully developed yet,
right.
And you don't even know how good they really are going to be. You're basing it on, well, they look really good in college, and they have this great high school career, but we've talked time and time again, go back to the competition they played in high school. Okay, they play better competition in college, but now you're stepping up to the NBA. It's a total.
Yeah, and it's different. It's 2 rounds.
Totally.
Back when the days of the Jordans and everybody like that, it was 7 rounds of the NBA draft.
Right.
And you had a lot of guys that were juniors, at least juniors, coming out. You still had guys that came out real early, but not as much. Now it's just 1 year, like you said, of college, or no college, just played overseas.
Right.
Some of them, a lot of first-round guys are from the Ukraine, all kind of places.
Yeah, they're all over.
All over the place. Yugoslav, wherever. They all over the place. They're not from the United States. So we know they played pro ball overseas. Right. So you just go off of that, what you see. So it's hard to say who's your number one guy. Now, you can see certain guys coming out that 1 year, you can see that they got NBA talent.
Right.
But I don't know if they're physically ready, some of them. Some of them you can look at their body and say, okay, they... just like when you looked at LeBron, you could tell he was physically ready to play, in the NBA. So now I looked at Kobe. He didn't look physically ready, but athletically and talent-wise, he was all the way there as far as that. Totally. He just had to get, you've seen it on the court, but then his very next year, his second year, he was off the charts because that talent was just overwhelming.
He was there, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see when the real deal. So, but it's different in the NBA. Now when you say crapshoot, it is really a crapshoot.
Yeah. These guys coming out of the college.
NFL is a lot better because it's more rounds and it's just a lot of talent.
And they've had 3 years.
Yeah, they done played. And I don't know something about this draft. A lot of drafts but this one is, to me, it's kind of intriguing.
Oh,
and if you got your teams or teams you like, man,
I think this is
intriguing.
Yeah, I think this NFL draft. Now, I've heard all the critics. Well, it doesn't have the juice that the other NFL drafts. They're kind of downplaying it.
If they had, I tell you what, it would change if we had 5 or 4 or 5 number one. I mean, nip and tuck quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah,
just that. It could maybe even be 3 or 4. As soon as you see, they nip and tuck. They could be 1, 2, 3. The whole draft. This is the greatest draft ever. And when you look at this draft, to me, they say what they want. It looked like it's a lot of depth, like offensive linemen and defensive linemen.
A lot of good offensive linemen coming out.
Receiver. It's a lot of depth in this draft. And I think they base too much of the draft on the quarterbacks. They just look at it. And they say, well, you just got Mendoza probably. Simpson might get up in there. So it's not a good draft. No? It's going to be somebody who's drafted lower at a quarterback position. It's going to rise up.
And that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Because it happens like all the time where
just a late development.
Some guy, they pull in a later round.
Yep.
You think he's an afterthought. They get him in the 3rd or 4th round. People are like, oh, all right. And he was okay.
Yeah.
He gets in, the coach, the system, And then he flourishes, and he goes, this guy's actually pretty good. How'd that happen? Nobody thought, this guy was ever going to be that good.
And people think they use Tom Brady as an example, but I could use a lot of examples.
Well,
Russell Wilson. You can go way back as far as Bart Starr.
Well, Joe Montana, yeah.
They were afterthoughts.
Yeah.
Joe Montana was, I think, a third rounder. Or it might have been lower than that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think
he
Montana was a third rounder.
But he was the guy that said his arm's not strong enough. He's not going to be able to withstand the NFL. But with the perfect matchup of Bill Walsh and his offense, the West Coast offense at that time, that short passing game, precise, accurate passing, he was a threat. And then his arm got stronger in the NFL, too, because of learning how to throw the football, getting physically stronger. Tom Brady was an afterthought. You know he was. The 6th round, they weren't thinking of drafting Tom Brady. He just he'll be in there just competition for the quarterback room.
Yeah, you always look at all the quarterbacks that went
before him.
Russell
Wilson. That was competition. I mean, Carroll thought he had some attributes, but he brung him in because it give competition to the room. They thought it would be that, I forgot his name, the quarterback they brung from the Packers.
They paid a lot of money. Matt Flynn.
Oh, he's going to be. Russell Wilson
took over
in preseason, right in the camp.
1 week.
Yeah.
1 week.
And this is what you just said is people, if they're listening now, they think you're just making that up. That is exactly what all the coaches and people that watched that time, 1 week, they said Russell Wilson was the starting quarterback.
Well, they knew as soon as Russell Wilson came into camp, within probably 3 days, he just took over the playbook. He knew it. He took the team. He just took over.
Yeah.
He knew practice. He went in and he took over. And people are like, yeah. He had Russell Wilson came, I believe, from a military background.
Mm-hmm.
They were very disciplined. And even when they interviewed, they said, God, this guy's really above the curve, everything.
Yeah.
Just the way he talked, the way he handled himself, so disciplined. And he just took over. And he walked into that camp, and Carroll knew right away, yeah, this guy's going to be our starter. Because, Matt Flynn was a good quarterback. He was an average. I'll say he was okay.
Yeah.
But he was short. He was 5. I think he's 5'9". He looks shorter than that. But the point is, he's a good backup. But they needed a quarterback, and they signed Matt Flynn. They actually gave him a lot of money.
Yeah, no, they gave him a lot.
They gave Matt Flynn a lot of money, and then they were like, okay, he's got a lot of money. And then he showed up, and it was like Russell Wilson's there, and you could tell automatically that Russell Wilson's going to be the quarterback.
And the thing that's really striking about that is when you pay a quarterback a lot of money, sometimes there's so much pressure, you're force-feeded that you have to play him because we're paying him too much money. We can't do this.
Normally that's what happens.
Pete Carroll didn't even blink. He didn't care what they was paying him.
Because the gap was so big.
Yeah, that's how big of a gap it was.
It wasn't like, for the record, Russell Wilson was the third-round pick.
Right.
He was a 75th player picked. 2012 draft. So he fell because he was only 5'11". Wasn't 6 foot, 6'2", whatever, they go that. So they talked themselves out of that. And then people don't realize he went to NC State.
Right.
Then he actually after he was a 5-year player, went to Wisconsin, played for the Badgers his 5th year. So he had a lot of starts under his belt, but he came into the NFL, and he took off right away.
Yep.
And he became the man right away. And it's just you're talking, you brought up Bart Starr.
I think he's about 14th, 15th round. I don't know,
well,
actually, way back there. Might be lower than that.
Bart Starr, I love this. Bart Starr was drafted in the 17th round.
Yeah.
He was the 200th overall pick. Wasn't Brady 199?
Yeah.
Bart Starr was 200 overall pick in the 17th round because they had all those rounds way back. He was drafted in 1956.
Yeah, now look at that. You might as well say him and Brady was drafted around the same time.
Were
basically
same. Bart Starr was drafted 70 years ago, so that's how. But
look at that. But see, still same thing happened. Bart Starr turned into a star. It was a great.
He had 5 championships in his belt.
Right.
He was an NFL champion 5 years. He had 61, 62, and then 65. And then in 66, 67, he had the first two Super Bowls. He won those. And the funniest part was all the years he was the quarterback, Vince Lombardi always thought I guess, how do you say it? He wasn't enamored with him because he said that he thought like Sonny Jurgensen was better. He went to the Washington.
Yeah, the coach. Yeah, he thought Sonny was a better.
Lombardi said, I would win every game with Sonny Jurgensen. Like he thought Sonny Jurgensen was so much better than Bart Starr.
Yep.
But he never didn't realize. But Bart Starr was he was the Rodney Dangerfield of quarter. He got no respect. He won 5, and he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was calling their own plays back then. Those quarterbacks called their plays.
Right.
They just were just set and go and play it, and he called.
And no disrespect to Sonny Jurgensen because he was a very good.
No, Sonny Jurgensen was a great quarterback.
Matter of fact, they had a great situation in Washington when they had him and Billy Kilmer at the same time.
And then what happened was George Allen brought in Billy Kilmer because he didn't like Sonny Jurgensen.
Right. Yep.
So he started Billy Kilmer over Sonny Jurgensen.
And he said from playing against Billy Kilmer when New Orleans used to be in the West,
right
out there, and they used to play against them, the Rams would always play the Saints. And he said that guy was something else. So he went and got him.
He went and got him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't think so. He didn't like Jurgensen because he said allegedly Jurgensen was kind of went out at night. He didn't think Jurgensen was disciplined enough. Blah blah blah. That he was kind of like the nightlife guy.
Yeah.
Allegedly, all these rumors. And bottom line was, so Jurgensen got benched. I mean, he took George Allen like Billy Kilmer, and it was Lombardi loves Sonny Jurgensen. He was there. He was all the what ifs in the world. But, if Lombardi lived to coach Washington and didn't die from cancer in 1970 at 55 years old or so, I got to look. But I mean, the point is he died. If he lived and would have coached Washington, maybe Washington wins a couple of those Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, they had great talent.
They had the talent.
You had Charlie Taylor, receiver, and
Larry
Smith,
Brown, the running back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, you had a great core team. They only made that one Super Bowl in 1973. They lost to the Dolphins 14-7, which some people believe might have been one of the worst Super Bowls that ever was. As far
it wasn't intriguing.
It was not a good game to watch. It was very bad.
Yeah. Between that and the Baltimore Colts and Dallas Cowboys game.
Oh, the 1971, they played on that horrible turf down in Miami, where they were slipping and sliding because it was called tartan turf.
I don't know what it's called. That's what that was called.
It was the worst turf because it was hot. It would get in the hot sun that AstroTurf. It would get real like ice, glass.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Slipping and sliding on that turf down there, and it was a horrible Super Bowl because the players just couldn't get any traction. And Baltimore won 16-13 when Jim O'Brien kicked the field goal to win the game, and it wasn't well.
I mean, you had certain little plays like the John Mackey.
John Mackey with a deflected pass,
right?
But Unitas was over the hill then, really.
Yeah.
Well, he blew his elbow out, but that was a few years ago. Because I remember Ernie Accorsi was on Mad Dog Russo, and he talked about it.
Yeah.
He said John Unitas tore his elbow tendons, and it didn't heal. I mean, it was just that's what it was.
Yeah.
But he couldn't throw the ball the way he used to.
Right. Yeah.
And he just kind of played with that limitation. But, it just, and that was before that game. I mean, this was like, that was the Super Bowl. The year they were talking about the 69 Super Bowl. And Ernie, people don't realize that Earl Morrall quarterbacked the Colts that entire year pretty much because Unitas got hurt with the elbow.
Yeah.
And they threw in the Super Bowl, Earl Morrall just played one of the worst games in his entire career against the Jets in the Super Bowl with all the turnovers, and they stuck Unitas in. And people believe that if Unitas would have been in earlier, maybe the Colts could have actually come back and won the game. I'm convinced it wasn't going to ever happen because it was not their day.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the game vividly. I was 12 years old, and I remember that game because I really wanted the Colts to win, even though I grew up in New York. Because I liked Johnny Unitas and the Colts, and I wanted them to win the game. And obviously, I was just devastated that the Jets beat them 16-7.
Yeah, they controlled it with Emerson Boozer and Matt Snell.
And actually, that's how they won the game.
Yeah. Oh, they controlled it. Matt Snell was a
yes.
big time.
And when you look at that game, that's exactly right. Namath got the MVP. Okay, but if you really break the game down, they ran the ball to the left side of the line because of the age of the Colts. Don Shinnick, and there were a couple other players, Ernie Accorsi brought up, that were old. And they knew if they run to that side of the line, they could be successul, and they were.
Yeah, and they had a good offensive line, the Jets.
Oh, they had
Herman, I forgot the tackle. What's his name?
You had Sherman Plunkett.
Oh, yeah.
Sherman Plunkett was 335 pounds.
Yeah, but
330. And
he could move.
That
big guy.
He could move.
Right.
And he was just, and there was there weren't any other players. I believe he was the only player that was in the league at that time that was over 300 pounds.
Right.
Was Sherman Plunkett.
Yeah.
I remember quite well because we went to those Jet games, and I remember the program and looking at Sherman Plunkett.
And those guys were physically differently built back then. So
totally.
Not like the 300-pounders or 350 that you see today. These guys were just wide, sometimes very looking out of shape, but they could move. It was unbelievable they could move. But I remember Sherman Plunkett for sure. That line devastated.
Well, they had a guard that played on that team. The guy's name was Dave Herman.
Yep.
He lived in Valhalla, New York. Why I know this? I had a cousin that lived in Valhalla, and Dave Herman lived down the street from him. They knew him.
Okay.
He drove a Volkswagen, and he'd get in that little car, and he was so big. Then he always waved. He's great, nice guy, good guy. And he was supposedly colorblind. He used to put the color of the opposing jersey on his pants so he could look at that and kind of keep focused, is what this was told. I got to get back to this, but we're good. That offensive line was so underrated back then.
Yeah, they dominated them.
And they dominated. Let's get back. We got a lot to get to in the wonderful world of sports. I'm Pat Lucia, Dave Clark with me. Back after this, Western Reserve Radio.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit PAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, going back a little bit in time, talking about at least the 69 Super Bowl between the Jets and the Baltimore Colts. I know we're kind of the draft got us kind of going in this direction, and we just took off like we always do. But I just want against those Jets, that Jet team, I remember it well because here's the other thing they talked about it. What people don't realize, like in New York, you could never get a Giant ticket. You had to wait in line. Like basically, you had to wait. People would put their name, and you had to wait years to get season tickets to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So we got season tickets to the Jets because they were the AFL and they were easy to get.
Yeah.
And that was the best part of it is you could get the tickets to the Jets. We had 4 tickets to the New York Jets. And, you know, everybody went there we had them, I think got them at 66, 67. And we started going to the games then. And we went to all the Jet games because we had because they were an easy ticket to get.
Mm-hmm.
On an occasion, we would go to a Giant game because my father knew a guy that had the ticket that wasn't going to go. So he would say to my father, why don't you, here's 2 tickets, go.
Yeah.
So sometimes we had a dilemma where we had 2 of us would go to the Jets and then we had to do something else with the tickets. But I had an uncle and a cousin. We all normally 4 went to the Jet game, but we had to work it all out. But the point is, the AFL back then was the other conference, the other league, but the tickets were just so much easier to get to Shea Stadium. And that's where they played. They played right Flushing Bay, the Wind. And that was the only thing that people don't realize really Namath was really a great quarterback. He had an unbelievable arm. He would throw that ball. The stadium was set right on Flushing Bay, right by LaGuardia Airport. You could hear the airplanes coming
in all the time.
All the time. You grew up in you grew up in New York City. You knew. I grew up in Westchester County. Right. But the point is, you know really specifically what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. And you would
shake the city where I was staying when they're coming in.
Right.
That's how close it was.
Yeah,
you know?
it was.
Yeah. Oh.
And you could hear the planes coming into LaGuardia Airport. You're sitting there watching the game, and those planes would come right in. You could hear the sound.
Yeah.
And then the wind coming off Flushing Bay into the stadium, and it would circle in because the stadium was open at that end. And it would come in and go around. And, I mean, it was a circular wind, a lot like MetLife and all those, because that's another place in Jersey.
Yep.
Well, they always talk about MetLife.
Being similar to that.
Very similar to that.
All the stuff flying around through there.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, it comes
there
out
was
of the stands.
All kinds of paper and
Yep.
stuff,
Flying around.
almost a sandstorm.
Yeah.
A debris like blowing around in the stadium
all the time. Yes, yes. Well,
So-
you know what? I guess Sherman Plunkett must have been traded or something.
He wasn't on that Super Bowl.
No, he wasn't on that team.
Maybe he wasn't.
No, because they got Winston Hill, Randy Rasmussen, John Schmidt,
Yeah.
Dave Herman, and Roger Finney.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something. And Roger Finney was a rookie.
Yeah,
in
he was
that.
a rookie.
Wow.
Maybe my bad.
They were a young football team. The oldest person on the offense was Don Maynard at receiver was 34 years old in that Super Bowl. But then Matt Snell and Winston Hill, they were 28. Everybody else was young, 26.
He wasn't on the team.
Yeah, that was a young football team.
It was.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah, Plunkett must have left a year before, or did he come the year after? No, I can't remember.
He would have come. He must have left. He must have been out.
Must have.
By then. Because you're right, he's not listed.
No, yeah, that's what looking. I just couldn't have swore, but maybe that's what it was. But that guy was humongous. And it is so funny because backs would get behind him, you wouldn't see anybody. You wouldn't even see him.
No.
And then here he comes. Here come the back out
No.
the backside, and man.
No. He was no. Sherman Plunkett was he was, like I said, he was the only player here. This is racking my brain now. Yeah. Plunkett was the only player. Yeah. He retired. He retired in 1967, the year before the Jets went to the Super Bowl. I didn't know. I thought he was there. He did not play in that Super Bowl.
He retired the year before.
He retired. His last year in the NFL was 1967. He came in 58 with the Colts, and he actually played on the championship teams with the Colts. From 58 to 60, then he was with the Chargers, and Weeb Eubank came over and became the Jet coach and got Plunkett.
With him, okay.
And that's how he ended up with the Jets. But he retired a year before the Super Bowl. He went to Maryland State College, now known as the University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yep.
But he was a sixth-round pick. Now, again, come back to the draft. He was drafted in 1956, sixth round, 71st overall. So another guy that came in the sixth round and ended up being really good. I thought he was pretty good offensive lineman.
Yeah, it was good there.
But he retired, and unfortunately, rest in peace, Sherman Plunkett. He passed in 1989 at the age of 56. Born in 1933 in Oklahoma City, and he passed in November 18th of 1989 at the age of 56 in Baltimore, Maryland. But Sherman Plunkett did not play in that Super Bowl. So
no.
I stand corrected. But he was a very good, and again, talking about the draft, that's what got us here. But that's what's going to make this draft really interesting, I think, is because they were saying, a lot of the experts, at least one was saying, that you're going to see a lot. He thought that this is a deep draft, and he thinks there's going to be a lot of, like, watch your second, third, and fourth rounders in this draft, because they're going to get a lot of players in this draft that are going to play.
Yeah, I believe that's going to happen.
And I think it is. It's because, like, you brought it up from the get. You brought it up because of it's not a quarterback draft.
Yeah.
There's only two quarterbacks that obviously, well, one's going to go number one overall, Mendoza. I think that's a slam dunk.
Right.
The only question, does Ty Simpson move up in the draft? And does he go in the first round, or does he drop to the second round? People seem to think he's moving up.
Right.
He was supposed to be like a later first rounder, but he seems to be creeping up the board. The other player, the running back, Jeremiah Love, looks like he may be top 5 now.
Yeah, I think he is.
And then
I think he's one of my favorite players in the draft.
And he's rated, at least if you look at draft boards, Jeremiah Love is really considered, if you were going to look at the top 10, he's looked at definitely a top 10 draft. He's, in fact, Lindy Sports Pro Football Draft, which is a big magazine, is a great, very good magazine. He's got Jeremiah Love listed number 2, overall best player in the draft. Mendoza 1, Jeremiah Love 2. So the question's going to be, and some people believe the other Notre Dame running back,
Jadarian Price.
He's the second best. Yeah. And there's not a big difference between Love and him, Price, as being 1 and 2. There's a very small gap there. So people believe he'll be also drafted in the first round.
Mm-hmm. And if he sits there until the last pick in the draft, last pick of the first round, I do believe Seattle will take him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he fits perfectly. Since Walker's gone, you get him, Charbonneau will be getting healthy. You got other backs there that can fill in. But because they always know how, they have always been
Seattle's good
at finding backs and getting
excellent GM.
Yeah, they do a great job with that. I don't even be worrying about their backs. I don't care if I know their names or not, or like real familiar with them. They find them. I may have seen them in college and everything, but how would they be a pro? I got confidence in their ability to get backs. I don't know where they get these guys from sometimes. But they get them and they work out. So, they have been a stalwart at the running back position for a long time.
Yeah, they do.
Yep. They always find somebody.
Turn them loose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I look at it, and I see this is going to be like offensive linemen are really, it seems like this is going to be a good line, a good draft for linemen, offensive linemen, even defensive linemen, a lot of defensive players. And if you look at some of the rating these players coming out, they've got Ohio State with Lindy's got of his top 10, 4 Ohio State players are in his top 10. Caleb Downs is rated number 4. Cornell Tate 5. Arvell Reese is rated 8th overall, and Sonny Styles is 10th overall in the draft. That's how he's rating his players as far as top. And then obviously you could look at the 300 and get involved. But people believe that Ohio State could have 4 players go in the top 10.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering. I think Arvell Reese, in a way, I just don't know what position is it.
Well, and that's kind of what
outside edge rusher. I don't know that. I don't really know what he is. Now, talent-wise, I know what he is, but what is his niche? And that's why sometimes I still think he's going to can be a great player, depending if they get him in his right area of where he could be effective for whoever drafts him, because he got the talent. Sonny Styles, I think, could be somebody right off the top. I think he'd be okay. Caleb Downs, I also think I like him. I love defensive backs, but I think he's not a, they look at a safety and say he's an Ed Reed. No, right. He's not that type of defensive back, but he could be a Palomalo type, close to the line, make big plays. I don't think he's like Ed Reed, who can play close to the line, but he makes plays all over the field. He's a big playmaker, and that's just how he always was. Caleb Downs is a man against the run and stuff. Blitz, he could do all kinds of stuff.
He's kind of multi.
Yeah, so I would get him more if he's with the right team. I don't know. He has something with his physical that went on.
Okay.
And it may drop him. I seen that was on a couple days ago. They said something happened with some physicals, which not just one, but multiple teams. But they didn't disclose what it was. And I think they're not allowed to.
No, because of HIPAA rules.
Yeah, so they can't disclose it, but he got some medical things that might drop him where he could have been in the top 6 of the picks that he might drop to something like 11. They said they don't think he'll drop no further than 16 because he will not get past the second time the Jets get the pick. There's no way that their coach is going to let him get by. So, he's not going later than that. There's no way.
Yeah. Right now, one of the mocks, I love mock drafts because they're just, they're always going to be wrong, but they're not going to be 100% right. But It's just great to speculate and know that, like right now, this one mock draft, I mean, every mock draft has Mendoza going to the Raiders. There's been really no discussion of them trading him. I don't see it.
To be something big for them to trade.
Right. Somebody would have to give him the farm
Massive.
and then some. Yeah. I don't see that really happening.
Is he getting traded to the Ravens and they getting Lamar Jackson? I don't know. That's the only way I see you doing something like that.
Right.
There's no.
And
I can't see it.
And I just, they've got Kirk Cousins now with the Raiders, and I think
that was smart right there.
That is a great.
Shocked me, but it was, and I thought, oh man, that's confident thinking. A guy that could play in a pitch.
And he could be your bridge.
Yeah,
you don't have to throw Mendoza in.
If he's ready, he's ready. But if he's not, don't force it.
Don't force it. Let Cousins can still win you games.
Yep.
As long as they get that offensive line, that's their key.
And I think they did good in free agency, and then they got these drafts.
And this is a prime.
Yeah.
This is a prime year if you need an offensive lineman. That's why I hope the Giants take an offensive lineman.
I think they will in this.
And I think they will somewhere. The one mock. This is the Ringer. Mm-hmm. They have Mendoza 1, Arvell Reese 2 going to the Jets. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that for a long time. It's been like that for a long time.
And now they've got, which I thought was interesting, the Cardinals taking that offensive lineman out of Utah, Spencer Fano. I thought the Giants might pick him. Now I saw him going to the Giants in another mock.
Yeah.
If he drops down.
What are they, 5th?
They've got, this is what I like. Yeah, they've got.
They are 5th?
Yeah, the Giants are 5th. Now this mock draft has Reuben Bain going to the Titans at 4, and then they got Jeremiah Love going to the Giants at 5.
Well, that's why I think.
Which I think that's fun. I'm a Giant fan. I don't have any problem because
no, you got to take him.
You got to take him. If he's there at 5, I think the Giants have to take him because
their line was better last year.
Right, it
they
improved.
already picked up some free
agents.
And you
can get an offensive later on in the draft, like the second round, maybe take offensive line.
We got one more free agent time. People think, well, what other free agent? Right after June 1st.
Right.
There'll be some more key players, veterans that they got to wait so they don't get that hit. So
the contract. Yep. And then June 1st, you're going to see a lot more guys hit free agent because that's that day where that's how the teams get out of the money and the guarantee, whatever it is, where they play with the money in the NFL.
Yeah. So they go still.
June 1st is going to be a big day.
You can't pass them. If the Giants are there, I'd be shocked. Now,
I think you're crazy if you let them go by.
Unless you just figure, okay, now what do? We do got some backs.
Unless you
go back. I want
that
receiver, or I don't know. But it's going to be hard because I think he's a big-time playmaker. When is Washington's pick? I'm always been curious. That's another team be perfect.
Here's how this plays out. We'll look at the mock here. Cornell Tate on this mock is going to the Browns, wide receiver. Which would actually be good because he's got the 6'2", he's got the range. I guess they were saying something about the route running didn't look good in the combine or whatever.
Well, I think it was the speed. His route running says good.
Yeah,
they got separation.
It was the other way. The speed's not there.
Yeah.
Right, that's my bad. Right, it's the speed, not the route. The route running is excellent. It's the speed issue.
Yeah.
That's right because we got that discussion last week about, the speed. But Lydell Mitchell ran a 5.1 in his 40 time, and
but like I said, it ranges more in the receiver.
Yeah, it's more of a
matter in the receiver more than it is a running back.
I don't think was it Rice that didn't have the?
No, he didn't have a great. But that's what I looked up this past week. The shuttle run,
right?
The 20-yard shuttle run can tell you if a guy can get in and out of his breaks.
Right.
That's the part.
That's
that
the one.
Tate, why they wonder because he can run precise routes. But his shuttle time was so. What's called shuttle time was like an Olympic sprinter. Jerry
Rice, yeah.
He could do that so good,
right?
But he's in that space, and that's why he was just get a great separation.
Yeah, because he could just do it.
But that doesn't mean Tate can't develop that because he got enough talent to be able and speed to be able to do it. So 4.52. That's not fast, but
it gets down to the shuttle.
Yeah, if he can get that, start working on that short range speed and that space, then he could be big time receiver. Because if you got the route running, if you can make separation areas, then you're going to be a problem. And then he's 6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2".
Yeah, so you got separation.
He's rangy.
Yeah,
he's got that range.
Now the guy that I'm thinking but he got the injury issues. But Jordan Tyson.
Yeah,
that guy is off the charts, but he's been always banged up. Now, people saying Cleveland should take him, then he could be there with his brother. His brother plays for the Cavs, and he could be there.
Oh, there you go.
They both, his brother's a starter for the Cavs. At time, I know he was a starter for the Cavs. So, I mean, that would be something if he went there. But it's going to be hard for the Browns to let any of those receivers go. But they also enamored with offensive linemen too, because what's your key? You got to keep your quarterbacks healthy.
Yeah, you got to keep the quarterback healthy.
So, man, it's
going
to be a treat. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, they've got in this draft they got David Bailey going to Kansas City, defensive end. Makes sense. David 7th. Bailey's. They've got a mock in this. He's got a trade up.
Oh, where he might trade up.
They trade up with Washington. On this, they trade up. Kansas City will trade up with Washington, and Washington will drop to 9.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to get a third rounder
with
this, and they'll give their pick up in a 6th rounder, and then Washington will get the 9th overall pick. They'll just move 2 spots back and pick up a 3rd round pick for this 2026. So that's what this is. But they've got David Bailey going to Kansas City, and this is a good defensive draft though too, because there's a lot of and then they've got the Dallas Cowboys taking Mansour Delane out of LSU, or I guess it's Delaney or Delane.
Yeah, the defensive
the
back.
D back.
Yeah,
he's 22 years old. David Bailey's also not 22, but they have him out of Texas Tech.
Now, I did hear that something about Washington would trade back, but I guarantee you, if they go to the Giants and let's say Carnell Tate is there, and the Giants say, "Oh, I'm taking him." See, this is the big problem with Carnell Tate. I can't say problem, but you don't know what he could be because he's never been a number 1 receiver.
Right.
He's always been number
2.
He was that all the time. So he would be, if he went to the Giants, I think he's a superstar.
Yeah, because Neighbors
is the number 1.
Is the number 9 guy. 1. He's coming back off injury, but when he's ready and he'll be ready to play, he'll be the number 1.
And that's the number 2. That's
and
a
Tate
problem.
will be number 2.
And he's refreshed right there. He's gonna be,
and he'll be right in his.
You don't have to try to force him to be a number 1.
He won't know.
You don't have to be, and I think that'll fit well. But if that happens, there's no way Washington is trading. If Jeremiah Love is still on that list, I don't think there's no way they trading that pick. They're gonna draft Jeremiah Love, the Redskins. Not Redskins, Commandos, not Commanders. But they will draft. They will definitely draft. That I can't see how they can let that get by.
Well, under this, Washington will go to number 9, and they'll take Jamon McCoy out of Tennessee, defensive back, 6'1", 188. Yeah. He's young. He's only 20 years old, 20 and a half. So he's a younger guy, but they've got him going to Tennessee. And then Caleb Downs going to the Bengals at number 10.
Yeah, because, I mean, with that situation, he could, but he's not going past halfway.
No.
16th is
no, I don't think he would ever
Jets
drop.
Come up and see that? They got him. Now he could be like what was my guy's name from Florida? Oh, he wouldn't play. He kept dropping in the draft years ago. The safety. I thought he was going to be drafted by the Bears, but like in the fourth pick, but he didn't. He dropped, and the Miami Dolphins drafted him. I can't think of his name now. He had all kind of little injury type things, but he came in and had a good career at the Dolphins. I can't think of his name.
Okay. Was it
so he played at Florida in college. Pretty sure it was at Florida, not Florida State. It was at Florida. I just can't think of his name.
I mean, he's not in the league now.
Oh,
he's
no.
retired.
This has got to be in the 90s. I remember just taking a big hit on people saying different things, and he dropped and dropped.
Well, we see that because a lot of times we talk about how teams talk themselves out of players.
Well, that's what happened with Warren Sapp. He kept dropping.
Right.
Whoa, why they drop? And we see what he was.
Yeah.
You can't. They let guys drop. You can't do it. You know.
Well, you get Marino. You go down history.
Yeah.
Guy,
who was his roommate? Fralick.
Yeah.
And Fralick said, "I've never seen him." Indulge.
They
in any
talked
kind
to
of
him. That's in that 1983 draft, ESPN 30 for 30. And he dropped all the way. He was not the last player picked in that draft. Next to the last player.
Who was that? In that 83 draft?
Yeah, the 1983 draft. Which is, I think, maybe one of the greatest drafts of all time. But the number, I remember, I should have known this right off the top of my head. But that number one, the guy in the last pick.
Last pick of the first round or
last
pick of the draft?
Pick of the first round, Darrell Green.
Oh.
Darrell Green from Texas A&I.
Yeah.
Was the last. That's it. It was.
Well, they thought he was too short.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Right.
He's not going to be able to adapt to the speed of the NFL. No, the NFL couldn't adapt to his speed. He was ridiculous. I'd never seen a guy ran down Eric Dickerson like it was nothing. Monday Night Football run down my guy Tony Dorsett. I said, "Oh, he's gone." No, ran him straight down with no problem. I mean, it was just over so quick. This guy was, and then people don't know this, but when he was 42, he was still playing, and he was running 4.3 at 40-something years old.
He was.
So that guy had incredible speed. Bo Jackson is probably the most incredible speed,
ever.
Especially when a guy they said, they had moving 40s they used to run, and the moving 40 is where you can start off at the goal line, and we'll start timing you when you get to the 20. So now you're running 60, to the other 40. They said he ran a 3.8 40-yard dash because he was already running.
He was, when he's going.
Yeah,
right,
he's already
right.
going.
He's already going.
But they said that day, they said, would you run that 40? And he said, I'm not doing that. He said, I don't have any spikes. Well, they said running. He asked them, well, can he run to the opposite side?
Right.
Because it was open. He said, because there's no way I can stop.
Right.
I got to just keep running.
No, I got to go. Right. I got to have a plane landing.
And he ran 4.06 with tennis shoes. That don't sound possible, but that's what he did. Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Boy, did God bless him.
We'll be back after this Saturday Morning Sports Page.
The stations that are always ahead of the game. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast. Youngstown, Ohio.
Nina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532. Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, 330-707-4202. Getting first hour, we were kind of focusing, getting in our draft talk, which we're going to do a lot of.
Yeah.
We're 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, because next week could be the 18th.
And it's 2 weeks from
this past
yesterday
Thursday.
to Thursday. It's Thursday. Now it's basically do the math, 12 days. I guess we're technically 12 days from the draft. Yes, Thank you. Wow. So it's coming up real quick. It's in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be 700, supposedly estimate of 750,000 people will be there. Where they're going to put all these people in parking, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That just
it was other people talking. They said, "Hey, let's go up there." No way.
No, not with 750,000 people.
No, man.
I mean, not with you could sit there and watch. It's not like, years ago you've gone. It's been a while since I've gone, but with the Hall of Fame is different. Canton Hall of Fame is good because you got a place to seat. There's food. You could sit down. It's not people on top of one another. I mean, this to me just sounds like you're going to drop 750,000 people downtown Pittsburgh to have this draft. I don't even know. I guess I could look it up. Where specifically are they holding it in Pittsburgh? Like, what is the location of the draft?
They said but I know it's right by the stadium.
Is it going to be where the stadium is?
Yes, right in between the stadium. Oh, yeah, it is down there.
Okay, so it's going to be where the stadium's located.
Yeah, it's called something because they have concerts there. I can't think of the name of the.
I'll look it. Yeah, we'll look it up. It's just going to be where do you park, walking, and it's not like you're seeing an event. You're just hearing, you're hearing names being called. You're there because you want to be around it all and the people and all.
Yeah.
But as far as it's not really anything happening, it's not like a sporting event. It's not like they're playing a game or anything.
Yeah. If it was 750,000, I don't even think I want to be at the game.
No.
I just can't,
I don't want to be. And then we got all these people parking.
Yeah.
And if there's that many people there, I mean, where are you going to put them all?
Yeah, true.
I don't know. Like I said. But Darryl Green is 66 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He probably could still outrun a lot of players.
Yeah,
so people believe he can.
66,
I bet he can.
We're the same age. I think we were born in the same month. We're both in
Yeah.
February, I think.
Yeah.
He's February 2nd.
He's February 15th.
Oh, I'm older than him by 4 days.
You got so
I'm on
you're
11th, and he's the 15th.
You're 4 days.
Yep.
You're almost same birthday. You're 4 days. Yeah, he's 66. He's born February 15th in Houston. Went to Texas A&I.
Yep. And I forgot what it's called. Is it Texas A&M Commerce or something? I don't know what it's called now.
Now it's called Texas A&M Kingsville.
Kingsville, okay.
And it's the Javelinas. He was the last pick in the 1980, last pick in the first round in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
He played in 295 games. He won 2 Super Bowls before retiring in 2003. So he would have basically been, well, in 2003, he would have been 37. No,
43.
43. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I got to learn
Oh,
how to
yeah,
math.
he played for a
43 years old. He retired at the tender age of 43. Some people believe that, and I remember I thought LeVar Arrington was talking about him, and I could be wrong. I thought Arrington said when he was drafted by Washington, he said that Darrell Green was in camp, and he said he was still the fastest guy there. He could still outrun everybody.
Yeah, because he used to still come to
He
their
would
workout.
still come to the workouts, and he said, here's this guy that was back then. He was back in the early 2000s. He said he was well into his 40s, and he goes, this guy was still like lightning fast.
Yeah.
He said he could he was still the fastest guy, even with the younger guys in their 20s couldn't outrun him.
I know. I mean, 3 defensive backs. I'm trying to think of others. I'm sure it's others I can't think of right now. But
he retired in 2000. Yeah, retired in 2002.
That guy could run like the wind.
20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I only seen guys that could run guys down like that is him, Deion Sanders, and it was a guy named Darrell Johnson.
Yeah.
He played for at that time, Boston Patriots.
Oh, my gosh.
And
that goes to the old AFL.
And then they became New England. He was still playing. But I'll never forget OJ breaking and going down the sidelines. And they said, OJ is on his way, gone. And Darrell Johnson came from the other side and ran him down. And that you don't run OJ down.
No,
and
you
I
don't.
watched that game, and he ran him down. I think his name was Darrell Johnson. I know he wore number 23. I'll never forget that. I said, this guy is incredible. And then they started talking about his he could have went to the Olympics. He could have did all kind of things, but he was a guy that loved football, physical type of guy, so he played NFL football instead of going to the Olympics. But he was a track star, and I know he's a defensive back. I've never seen a guy run. I just never seen that, especially him. You know, Dickerson and them all had great speed. They didn't have O.J. Simpson type speed or Tony Dorsett type speed, but my goodness, Darrell Green ran down Tony Dorsett like he's almost running still.
Yeah, Darrell, D-A-R-Y-L.
Yep.
Darrell Johnson, DB, Boston. Yeah, somebody, this is in Facebook, my father, this son posted this. My father, 23, Darrell Johnson, defensive back, Boston Patriots.
Yep.
They got a picture of him.
That guy blazing.
Yeah, that
speed.
guy was.
I mean, he came from the other side of the field, and you seen where he was at. I said, he's behind him. He caught him. He caught him at about the 10-yard line. I could not believe it. It would have been like a 90-something yard run by OJ. And that was that year of this 2000 when he got the 2003 yards. That guy, I seen that speed. I said, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, Darrell, there he is. Unbelievable is right. That's unbelievable. I love it. Yeah.
Great athletes back then.
Great, unbelievable player back in the day.
Yep.
And he played, the old AFL. And again,
oh yeah,
he was from
the original.
This is when we talk a lot about the AFL.
AFL, some great players.
And they had unbelievable ball players back then.
Yep.
He's actually in the Morgan State Hall of Fame. He went to Morgan State.
Well, see, in the AFL was big on going to the small colleges and making them publicly known that teams were like, "Hey, we got to get these guys out of there." The NFL
He was an 8th round pick. Okay. He didn't have a big long career. He played 3 years, but he was an 8th round pick, 197th overall pick. He passed in 2023. Rest in peace at the age of 77. But he was born in 1946. But he went to Morgan State, and it goes back to that book I gave you, which was that the Little League that could, the AFL, and the history with the AFL.
I like that book. That's good. It's unbelievable.
Book, you're like, it's an unbelievable book because it goes to show you how they built the AFL, and it was because the NFL took all the players from the big universities.
Yep.
And Lamar Hunt, who founded the AFL, they went south, and they took a lot of the players out of the southern small schools. The black colleges was really almost like a farm team for a farm system for the AFL because that's where they got Buck Buchanan, Curly Culp, I believe. There were, we rattled off all the names of those Kansas City Chiefs. And Ernie Accorsi was on Mad Dog, and he said that Kansas City Chief team that won the Super Bowl, they could have won at least 3 more titles. He goes, that was he thought one of the best teams ever to play. He goes, that roster is unbelievable.
Yeah,
when you look
honest,
at that
I don't know how they didn't keep going.
That's what the thing is. They just, like I said, if you break that down, they beat the Jets to get to the Super Bowl, or in the playoffs, and they beat the Raiders. And that this was also discussed that the Raiders played them and beat them. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs in preseason back. Then they beat them twice in the regular season. So they would have had to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 4 times to get to that 1970 Super Bowl. In 69, they actually played the Kansas City Chiefs 4 times. This is what Ernie Accorsi was telling Mad Dog Russo. And he goes, you know how hard it is to beat somebody 4 times? And he goes, he goes, remember, they played 6 preseason games then, and they played them. It wasn't like today, and people need to realize that back in the 60s, 70s, they played those preseason games like they were regular games. The first team, they played hard because the first team was out there. They were out there to get, to keep their position on the roster. And they wanted to see what guys could do, and they really played preseason games. They played 6 of them, and they played them hard.
Oh, it was different, big time difference back then. And the Raiders had a great team too that was assembled, and that's why they were such rivals because those guys, people thought they were enemies. Al Davis and at the Chiefs, Lamar Hunt. But actually, they put their heads together and made that AFL go to another level because that competition was unbelievable. No teams was getting these players from places that nobody knew.
Well, and that's the thing.
NFL was just not even looking at these guys.
The NFL never looked really at any of those schools down there. Sadly, horribly, race had something to do with it. Sadly, and again, not a good thing, where there was some racism involved there, especially with Washington and their owner, Preston Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
He would not allow
extremists on that.
And Lamar Hunt says in that book, he goes, we didn't care. We wanted players. And we saw how great these players were in college. We scouted these guys. That's why we drafted them. We didn't care about race. It had nothing to do with it.
Right.
We wanted great players, and we went for the best players available. And I think that's where they caught up with the NFL so quick. It's because the AFL Lamar Hunt was a genius, way ahead of his time. But he kept that league AFL floating. But he went after all the players, a lot of the players. Not all, but a lot of the players came out of the small Morgan State scrambling Texas, A&I, these small schools that you go, what do you mean? And they were great players. They go, why are these guys so good?
Yeah.
I mean, the competition they played, the competition was really good because they were playing against one another.
Right. And people don't know the Chiefs. I think about their defensive line. Or I could just name three of them. You had Curly Culp, you had Buck Buchanan, but you had another guy who also played for the Raiders, and Ernie Ladd. 6'9".
Yep.
300 and some pounds.
Ernie Ladd.
You couldn't even move him.
No, you could not. I remember Ernie
All
Ladd.
season he was a
with
wrestler.
the Chargers. Was he the one that broke the helmet?
Yeah.
Shattered the helmet?
Yep.
Ernie Ladd.
Yeah, Ernie Ladd.
Because, he was 6'9". He had to be, look him up, but he was well over 300.
I'm pretty sure he was over 300. He's 6'9".
I know he was 6'9" because I remember when I was watching the AFL back when I was a kid, I was just absolutely enamored with Ernie Ladd. He ended up being a wrestler, but as a player, he was an unbelievable football player. But, Ernie Ladd was he was bigger than life in the AFL.
Oh, man, that defensive line.
He was a defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He was 6'9" and 290.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He played with the Chargers from 61 to 65, the Oilers from 66 to 67, then with the Chiefs 67 and 68. And I remember Ernie Ladd, he was block everything. He would block punts, block kicks. He was so big at the line, and he was like a man-child.
Well, I mean, the Chiefs were so innovative. They drafted a guy just because of special team thing, and a guy named Morris Stroud.
Morris. I remember him.
He was 6'10".
Right, Morris Stroud. He played for the Raiders.
Yeah, and the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, he might have been drafted by the Chiefs, and this guy was 6'10", and the reason they said they watched him just block kick after kick after kick. And he still was a good athlete to catch the ball.
Chiefs, not with the Raiders. You're right. He was drafted by the Chiefs. He went to Clark College in Georgia.
Yep.
Third round by the Chiefs in 1969, a third rounder. From 69 to 74, he's with the Chiefs. I remember him.
Yeah, Morris
Stroud. And
when
he was
6'10"?
6'10".
Yeah.
6'10" and 255.
I remember this guy, they would throw it up to him. They already had a good tight end, Fred Urbanus, if they remember.
I remember Fred Urbanus.
He was blind in one eye.
Yeah.
Catch everything.
But he caught everything.
Caught everything.
Yeah, Morris Stroud, rest in peace, died in 2016 at the age of 70. 6'10", 255. And I remember him when he played with the who was the guy?
See, this is something, man.
What was his name? Curtis Sly. Played for the Raiders. He was another guy like 6'10", 7 foot.
Yeah, they had a guy like that too today. Also, they did things. That's why they were
Al
such a rival.
Davis was always thinking outside of the box.
All kind of things.
His mind was always going.
That's why they were such rivals.
A mile a minute. And one of Al Davis's biggest fans and friends was George Steinbrenner. Okay. Steinbrenner loved him. They would meet and talk. He said Steinbrenner loved him because he said Al Davis he was always thinking of ways to win. Like his mind never stopped. Mm-hmm. Getting an edge, how to find a way to win. He said, I'm reading a book about Steinbrenner right now. Vaccaro wrote it from the New York Post. It's a great book. It's called Bosses of the Bronx. And it's a great book. And it's about Steinbrenner. It's really good. But in this book, he's talking about how, George Steinbrenner did own a basketball team, the Cleveland Pipers, that went under in the ABL. But he and Al Davis, he said, was good friends. He loved Al Davis.
Yeah.
He said he loved to talk to Al Davis because Al Davis was always giving him away, like, get an edge. This is how you win. This is how you get an edge to win. He was enamored with him. He said,
and that's why he had that slogan.
Yeah,
just win, baby.
And he had just win.
Yep, he find ways to win.
And that's what Steinbrenner said. His mind never stopped. He was just constantly meet with them, and he's always giving him like this. Do this. This is the way to get an edge. Do this. Consider doing this. He was like
Yeah.
Always.
And
The mind.
And it's been something. That's why I said I hope this could be the chance for the Raiders to start getting back. Because once he got the touch of dementia and Al Davis and things, and he was still trying to own team and do things, everything went awry. Because that guy, his mind was just unbelievable. He would always keep them in contention no matter what because of his forward thinking, doing stuff that you would think, what the heck is he doing? But that's just that's what he did.
Richard, this is the guy, Richard Sly. 1 year in the league. Al Davis drafted him 1967 in the 10th round. He was a 253rd pick. He only played a year, but he was the tallest football player ever to play in the NFL. He was 7 foot.
Yeah.
7 foot, 300 pounds. I remember him as a kid because I remember him coming in the game. I was watching the Raiders and Kurt Gowdy's doing the game. And he goes, here comes Richard Sly. He was there to block the punt or block the kick.
Yeah.
He was 7 foot. And he comes in, you're looking at him and go, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he came in to block, to block punts. So that's what he was, to block kicks. He was 7 foot. And he said that Al Davis was always doing, Al Davis had no box. He thought outside the box nonstop. Mm-hmm. And he never stopped thinking, his mind was always on, go.
Yeah. I remember they thought he was crazy when he drafted a guy named Elrich Dickey.
Yeah.
Because they said, why are you getting him? He's not going to play quarterback. He said, no, but he could play everything. So he could play quarterback, running back, receiver. He could also be a defensive back on the defense, and he also could return kicks. So he got a guy that could cover multiple positions in areas for him, and that's why he drafted him. Whereas guys would think that I'm not wasting a draft, but he would do that.
He always
and instill confidence in these guys, and they would do things, help.
Right. He always thought of doing something outside the box. He just thought constantly. We would go and draw and find these players. Like this guy, Richard Sly, I remember him. He went to North Carolina College. North Carolina, is that North Carolina College is where he went.
I wonder what is that today?
It's North Carolina Central Eagle football.
That's today?
Now it's called North Carolina Central.
Yeah. Yep, I heard them. Yep. Yeah, they're Division II school. Yeah. And
they're in the MEAC.
MEAC, yeah, right now. Yeah.
Right.
That's why I was wondering was it them.
They're in Durham. They're in Durham, North Carolina. That's where Duke is located. Yeah. They're located there.
Yep.
But this is where I always get enamored with these draft picks that come from nowhere. Or where are these colleges at? Where do they find these guys?
Mm-hmm. But they'll find you.
But they will.
Yeah, they'll find you.
Or they don't. The guys show up and play. That's the other thing. They're not drafted. They're walk-ons. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, it's wow, this guy's really good. And it's just how many walk-ons make the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
For Hall of Fame, it's just enamored. Or they're drafted like Bart Starr in the 17th round.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They do it. You still, to today, you still get these guys. You wonder what they doing. But somebody, that's why I don't question. It might be a bad draft pick, but the guys, for them to even be thought of, they have to have some type of talent of some sort. I just think they sometimes just get with the wrong organization.
Or they suffer a bit
or bad. It can be a bad
injury. They just suffer, like I said, Kajana Carter.
Yeah.
In my eye, Kajana Carter would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame had he not got hurt. Yeah. He blew his knee out, and he tried to play, and he never was able. No. He was not the player. When he was at Penn State, he was just, to me, one of the greatest college backs ever to play. Mm-hmm. He was a breakaway from a touchdown, or he would go left, right, and he was gone. And I every time Kajana Carter touched the football, he was a breakaway.
Oh,
he was unbelievable. He was a touchdown running down the field.
Yep.
But he was, to me, one of the players that suffered a really bad injury, a knee injury, and back then they didn't have the technology they had today.
Right.
And he never really recovered from that.
Yeah, he never was able to
He was
be
never
back.
the same player. But if he had not suffered that injury, I was convinced Kajana Carter.
Oh, yes, a lot of them. I mean, but I always thought if Billy Sims never
Same
got
way.
injured, there's no way he's not
Nope.
a Hall of Famer. That guy was so elusive.
Breakaway Billy Sims.
I mean, just elusive on the football field with power, with everything, and then the injury he gets is just making a cut.
Yeah.
And blew that knee out. And I hated that because I still remember, I'll never forget, if people remember the George Michael sports machine that used to come on with highlights on Sunday night. And I still remember Billy Sims getting the ball. And somebody for the Houston Oilers at that time came up to tackle him. And he actually did a karate kick in the air. Do you remember that? Kicked him out the way and continued to run on down the field. This guy was unbelievable. Billy Sims was something. He was something, but that ended his career. And people would say now, if you take him back and put him in the 1960s, he's equivalent to Gale Sayers.
Yeah, same player.
He would be a guy that would make the Hall of Fame because he was this great player, and that little short span was unstoppable. But when you start comparing what was going on from that time when he played on to now, there's just no way he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, because his statistics is out the roof. So
he only had I should be, but sadly,
did he play 5 maybe?
He played 5 years, 80 to 84, 5 seasons.
Yeah,
he had 5,106 yards running. He had 2,072 yards receiving.
Yeah, because he could catch the
ball.
Yep.
His rushing, he averaged 4.5 yards a carry. He had 42 rushing touchdown and 5 touchdowns receiving. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Won't make the NFL Hall of Fame just because, again, the career just wasn't there.
Right.
And sadly, he had that brutal knee injury, and he was never. I remember he was really hurt in '83 because I remember I was living in Toledo and went up to a college game. I mean, an NFL. We went up to the Lions. A good buddy of mine drove up to Silverdome to catch the Lions game, and he was like a shell.
Yeah.
He just wasn't the same. He blew out that knee. He tried to come back. Yeah. He did have 1,000 yards in '83, 1,040. And he played in 13 games. And the following year, he tried to come back in '84, and he just wasn't there. He just only had 687 yards. He only played in 8 games, and he retired because the knee was just shot.
Yep. Yep.
And the year I saw him in '83, he was still good. He had 7 touchdowns. He had 1,040 yards, 4.7 yards a carry. Guy could just.
Yeah. I mean, that's, the standard back in the day at that time was 4 yards a carry, and you're just great. When you got a guy that's almost at 5, that's why Jim Brown's statistic was so great because he averaged 5.2 yards a carry. That's insane. And the only guy that's, I think, that's right there is Barry Sanders. I think he was 5 point something. And that, and he's not talked about enough, Barry Sanders. Most elusive back I ever. I mean, I know about Gale Sayers. It's a different type of elusiveness. But you talk about a guy that's in the pocket where defensive linemen, linebackers is right there to tackle him. You'll see 4 and 5 guys right there, and he gets out of it. Yeah. Sometimes doesn't even get touched, and I don't. It's this. He was a guy that you didn't want to if you're in your hometown and you're playing as kids and you're playing tag or something like. He's not a guy that you want to have to try to tag.
No,
he's not getting tagged.
No,
I wouldn't want to ever play that game with him.
He was. Yeah.
Stop on a dime.
Saturday Morning Sports Page. We're going to come back after a quick timeout. Western Reserve Radio.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard, or call 234-254-8532. Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do
is take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up to cancer and take the pledge at GetScreenedNow.org.
It only takes a minute to take care of yourself, and nothing rhymes with org.
Talk to your doctor about your health and screenings that are right for you.
Saturday Morning Sports Page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark back. Barry Sanders, since we're kind of talking about running backs. Mm-hmm. And I started this whole thing with Kajana Carter. And, well, yeah, that's how we kind of got into the back. But, again, Billy Sims, breakaway Billy Sims. Again, a great, maybe you got one of the best college back, but would have been one of the best NFL backs, again, for the injury. Yeah. I still think Kajana Carter would have had an unbelievable NFL career had he not blown out the knee. And I believe it was his first or second game in Cincinnati. Yeah. And he tried to come back from that. And it was just too much of a brutal injury. Never could. But I always thought he was drafted by the Bengals. I remember it. And I thought he was going to have a Hall of Fame career in the end. But again, digress. Billy Sims was another unbelievable back. Mm-hmm. He only played 5 years with the Detroit Lions. He played really 4 really good years. That 5th year, the knee was too shot. And They played on AstroTurf too. That's the other thing you remember. These guys played on AstroTurf, which was basically a carpet over concrete.
Yeah. And he did that at the Metrodome.
Yes.
Against the Vikings. When Billy Sims blew his out.
I believe that was it.
He cut on a guy who flew somewhere, and he just did that one cut, and that you've seen it, and it just gave out, and that was it. That was the end of that elusive Billy Sims. Once he seen he couldn't have the burst and all that, when he came back, he was done. He couldn't, even though he did come back, like you said, had a 1,000-yard season, but just the wear and tear, it couldn't hold up. That following season, he was done.
In 1984, I was wrong. I thought it was 83. It was 84. It was a 1984, midway through 1984 season. He suffered the catastrophic right knee injury in a game against the Vikings on October 21st. He tore the knee out. And he spent 2 years trying to rehabilitate the knee, never could. And he finally retired in 1986. But he was an unbelievable ball player then. Yeah. I mean, you're right. He was sadly a type of guy that had he had a full NFL career, Billy Sims probably would have blown out every record known to mankind. I mean, he could have had, I'm convinced that he'd really not been hurt. He could have had, he would have rivaled Jim Brown and all the other great records. Because you figured he played 4.5 years. He had 5,106 yards in 4.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was on his way. I mean,
you figure that 4.5 years
right.
at that amount, a 10-year career puts him at 12, and that's what Jim Brown was back then.
Right.
12,300.
He would have been
like
right.
That
if
yard.
he would have played a full 12 years, if he would have had 12 years under his belt.
Oh, yeah, he's in the 15.
He would have been 15,000 yards easy.
Yeah.
Because he was just an unbelievable ball player. Now he's in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he did win, I believe he did win the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Did he win? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he won that too.
Yeah, because he's in those commercials.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah.
He's always in the Heisman commercials.
Yeah, those are funny too.
And those are funny.
Yeah, I like those.
Those commercials are just great. Yeah, but again, sadly, unfortunately, the injury, and you could probably look at the list. We could almost put a list together someday of, maybe the running backs we thought would be Hall of Fame that did not get in or would not because of, their injuries.
Yeah, things like that, yeah.
Kajana Carter, Curtis Warner was the other one.
Oh, yeah, Kurt Warner.
Yeah, Kurt Warner was a great back, and he blew his knee out.
Yeah, at Seattle. He was
in that
something.
Seattle turf because they had those seams.
Another Penn State running back.
Another Penn State running back.
He is
yeah.
a Penn State. I could just think about him.
Kurt Warner, Kajana Carter, both would have had, to me, pro football.
Yeah, because Warner was
career.
He was something,
and he blew out that knee. And that it was I remember the Seattle game. I was watching it, and he caught his knee, and they had a seam in that turf because they had the baseball.
Yeah,
where they had they put the baseball field with the football, and they put the seams in.
Yeah.
So you have all. But he got his foot caught in that seam, and he blew the knee out. And it was a devastating injury.
Yeah. It's
like
just thinking about those.
Billy Sims blowing his knee out, and it was at Minnesota, the Metrodome.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I'm thinking about they're trying to do great now with the different field turfs.
Well, remember they ran that survey, though, and all the players in the survey, we talked about it, it's been about a month ago, talked about that survey, and one of the biggest things on that survey came out overwhelmingly that the players are not happy with the field conditions that they have to play on.
Yep. They're dangerous. People hate playing in Pittsburgh.
That field's a mess.
I mean,
because they play too many games on it.
Too much stuff, rock bands and
right.
everything else. I know you want to make money.
Right.
But you got to think of something different. You can't have them Pitt playing on there. Okay, you got that. You got concerts. You got all this stuff going on that field. It's terrible. That field is not good.
No.
And a lot of the guys would love to go back like the good old days, is play on grass.
Just play on grass. But don't, Pittsburgh is grass, but don't have concerts and play Pitt, the college and the high school football.
Yeah, they got I left that out. They play a lot of high school games there, too.
Pitt plays all their games on it.
Yep.
Then you have the high school teams playing on it.
Yep.
And then Pittsburgh, the pro team. This is a professional team. You're making billions of dollars, and you're sitting there, and you don't want to change out the field or put money into it. That's the part that frustrates a lot of fans, but a lot of the players.
Yeah.
I said, the sad part is I think the owners think of these players, they're replaceable. I'll just draft another running back. I don't care if the guy blows out his knee. Now, granted, they're not going to ever tell you that.
Right.
But that's the impression they give us because you're not giving them any kind of a good. Your fields should be pristine.
Yeah. Well, it should. And
all the fields, every NFL field, a college field, for all the money that they're pouring in from TV revenue, that's like if you have a court. If you have an NBA basketball court that's crap, like the old Boston Garden. that a dead spot because they didn't want to put any money because they were in love with all the Boston Garden. They're in love with the what is that? You know,
nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia and whatever. But the bottom line is they had a terrible court back then. They were always talk about all these players, the dead spots. That's why the Celtics had a home court advantage because they knew every dead spot on that court and they knew where to go and what not to do. And that's what they were always complaining about.
Yeah.
But the point is, now at least the NBA, you don't have that anymore. They got all great courts because, again, it's their players. But why can't football do the same thing with their fields?
Yeah.
And especially when they have that survey, and the players are all not surveyed. What was it? 90% of that was the biggest complaint on on that survey they threw out.
That's why I don't complain at all. People say, they get paid too much money. Well,
no.
And when a guy could go out there, do one play and rip his knee to shreds or his Achilles and never play again, and that was his livelihood and his family's livelihood, make as much money as you possibly can.
Look,
and simple as that.
Especially when they are raking in money with TV and streaming and football especially. And I know we're going to get to that next hour, talking about they're in trouble now. Is it the DOJ's looking into the football and their reserve? I'll look it up, where they're looking at the NFL being because they're starting to charge for Netflix and they're not making the games available on regular TV.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be looking at, is it the antitrust?
Okay. They're going to look
into that because I'll pull it up and read the story. I'd read it this week, but the whole point of it is it's getting back to when the players are telling you the NFL players have biggest complaint on the survey was the field condition. That stood out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not laughing. I'm like shaking my head going, you cannot be real here, NFL owners. You have crap field conditions because you don't want to put money into the field.
Yeah.
And yet you have your players playing and their careers are at stake, their knees and ankles, and they're trying to make money and they're making money. The NFL's making money hand over fist.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't you can't give them a safe field to play on. You don't want to spend the money and the maintenance.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the part that's like,
they got to do something.
You got to do something, people. You're the NFL. You have more money that's printed right now.
Yeah.
And the owners are what? You want to cut corners on your field because you don't want to pay the maintenance people to keep your field in shape?
They need to call up the guy. I can't remember his name, but when I played at San Diego State, I told you, we go down and do our calisthenics, and you lay down on the field. You just say, forget it. Give me a pillow. This field is great. I told you that was the greatest field I ever played on. That thing was so comfortable. Great conditions to play on that field. But guys don't take care of it like that. It just shouldn't. It's so much, billions of dollars. They need to have it. I mean, you can't prevent all injuries, but you can't have stuff like how Pittsburgh's is. And it's only like that because too many people.
There's too many people on
there. They got too much going on.
Well, then what they should do is you have those fields that they can actually bring fields in parts.
Yeah.
Well, when the Steelers are playing, bring in a new field. Or Pitt, have one field for one and one the other. I know the turnaround time, but figure that out.
Yeah.
Can't you figure out getting a field that's going to be good? And so when Pitt plays and the Steelers play, they're not, looking at
both, yeah. But you're endangering both, even the college guys.
College, right. The college kids should be playing on also a good field. The part I wanted to get to is right now, the U.S. Justice Department is investigating the NFL. This came out this week. They're investigating the NFL regarding potential anti-competitive practices in its television and streaming rights deals, which may force consumers to pay high costs to watch games. The probe focuses on whether these contracts which restrict games to various streaming services, violate antitrust laws despite the league's 1961 broadcast exemption. That's where they're at. They basically feel that Department of Justice is, again, looking into the NFL media deals, violating antitrust laws by restricting access and inflating costs for consumers. This is getting back to the streaming. You got Netflix, Prime, Amazon Prime. In fact, I forgot to throw this out.
The basketball coming
The
up.
basketball play-in tournament is all on Prime.
Yep.
So if you want to watch the NBA basketball play-in tournament, which I love,
Yeah.
you got to have Prime.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not on cable. It's all not on ESPN. It's on Prime now.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch the play-in tournament, you have to have Prime.
Yep.
You have to have streaming service.
And that's why you got to have those or
You-
the little system I told you I got that
Yeah.
plays all that stuff.
Right.
Because nobody don't have that kind of. You got to pay
No.
for everything.
Right.
You know, unbelievable.
Netflix,
And
Prime,
and the prices
Peacock.
keep going up, but those paychecks don't keep going
No.
up.
Well, and I think this will be interesting to see what they ultimately find out, because the thing is, this is February 26th. The FCC review, Federal Communications Commission, is reviewing the shift of live sports from free over-the-air broadcast TV to pay streaming services, noting it now costs consumers over $1,500 to watch all the games. So if you want to watch all the football games, you got to pay $1,500, and now they're looking at, wait a minute. This is violate the antitrust law.
So whether you go into the stadium or you're at home, you're paying some.
You're
some
paying money. A lot.
Yeah. Oh man, it's something.
That's where it's at.
And they making,
Yeah.
like you said, hand over fist.
Well, and then again, then to have an issue with your playing surfaces blows my mind away. I am absolutely, I know, but I remember going to the Ohio State games down at Ohio Stadium back then, walking on that turf. I'm talking 1975 when I first went down there, and I was walking around campus. And back then, everybody, it was in the summer. It was in August. I had to go down for something to get my schedule for fall quarter. But I just remember going into Ohio Stadium, and all the kids were playing touch football on that field back then. It was open. Everybody was mulling around. Some people sitting in the sands. Nice sunny day. But I'm thinking, walking on that turf was like walking on it reminded me of walking on. We had a patio in the back. We had indoor-outdoor carpet on it, and that's what it reminded me of, as I was walking on the patio and the indoor-outdoor carpet on the outside outdoor patio.
That's what's under cement. You got
Yeah.
a little thin piece of
Supposedly
layer,
pad,
and that's it.
and that was it. Supposedly a pad. I'd like to rip that up and see if it was there.
Yeah, it might have been, but it doesn't matter.
But
when
it
you
doesn't
got
matter,
a
right.
280-pound
No.
guy slamming onto you,
Right.
and you're going down to that ground.
You're hit. It's
It
like
doesn't
getting
give.
tackled like concrete.
That's right.
And then all the carpet burns you had on the elbows. A lot of the players started to wear tape on their elbows because that's where they would skin their elbows
yeah.
when they fell.
Yep.
So they were wearing tape on their just to protect their elbows and arms from the carpet burns.
Because
that
you
they
kept
would
getting
get.
that all season. That used to be tough to play with.
Yeah.
Very painful. It doesn't heal.
No.
Because you continuously practice. And then back in that day, when we played, you practice, you hit all the time. It used to be like our game is Saturday, Monday, shorts, Tuesday, kind of hitting, Wednesday and Thursday, you're going full go. And it's all day, hours of being hit, and stuff never heals.
No, the arms.
You'll have a
that's
burn
what
on there.
the
stay
biggest
whole entire
complaint
season.
they had was the
whole
carpet
season.
burns never healed, and then ultimately you risked infection.
That's right.
And that's where guys would missing time because their carpet burns got infected, and they couldn't play because they were on antibiotics and they couldn't because of the injury and the fact that they could not play because of the infection from the carpet burns.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, but then, all right, that was back, I hate to say this, over 50 years ago or 50 years. But the point is, you would think they would better. But no, when the players still in this day and age are complaining about playing surfaces, and now they get all this money. Back then, they weren't getting nearly the money that they did now.
Right.
With the TV deal and that revenue stream coming in from them. It's like, how are the playing surfaces an issue now?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely should be in better condition. And they got to do things like build amphitheaters near the stadium for concerts and stuff.
Right.
Because you got all that on there. That it really gets torn up when they bring all that
right,
stuff
when you
on
bring
there.
all that equipment and that stage equipment and all the people then come
they
in,
rip
and then
that
you
up.
put up, not only do you put up stands on the field so the people sit there, but then you bring in all that concert stage and equipment and the weight, and then the people are sitting on on chairs and a platform, and you bring that in and tear up the grass, and then they all, it's 1 or 2 nights and it's gone, but then you've got a torn up field.
And then wonder if it rains.
And then if you get rains, it's an absolute quagmire. And it's like I said, then the players have to go out and play on some of these surfaces.
And you can't play at the same. You don't play at the same
No.
speed because you're like timid running
Right.
across the field because you're concerned that if it gives way, well, that might be my career.
Right.
And people don't think that's in the back of your mind. You try to play hard, but it's tough. Once you slip, once that happens, you get apprehensive. Now, I'm going to tell you that way back playing on Veterans Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, one time I got caught in that seam a little bit. I didn't get hurt, but I was like very cautious of where I was at on the field, where those seams was at, because, I mean, I done seen guys just blow their knee out. That stuff was terrible back then. It just was bad. So, yeah, there's no sense in it. Not with the money that comes in. Doesn't make any sense, but
no,
it's what they deal with now.
Like I said, we talked about this disturbing story years ago. We talked about it about a month ago. About you brought up Veterans Stadium, and again we go back to the brain cancer issue with the players. Tug McGraw, Darryl Dalton, John Vukovic, Johnny Oates, Kent Brent, and David West died from a very rare form of brain cancer, glioblastoma. Sorry, I screwed that up. But anyway, then they find out later that the AstroTurf contained 16 types of what they refer to as PFAS, forever chemicals, which they believe especially when you're playing on the hot, when it got the high temperature of 165 degrees, likely caused these chemicals to release as vapors, leading into the breathing in and absorption by the players.
Yeah. So I mean, football players, especially baseball, because it's a lot hotter
hot in the summer. Think of your Julys, your June, your July, and into the August, where that AstroTurf is just baking in 100 in this degree, and they're right. At times, 165 degrees. Yeah, you get down in Philadelphia, and you get a hot summer day, as we all know, in July, and it's 100 and some odd degrees. You get down on that turf. Yeah, it can be hot. And again, this is what they're looking into. They're studying it. But the point is, not only you had that problem, then you had the whole problem with the field itself of who was the player. We should know this by now, that blew out both his knees.
Oh, yeah. That's Joe Thomas. I told you that got drafted by the Redskins.
Right.
At the time, they were the Redskins.
Right.
And on the same play.
Right.
Jumping up, catches come down on one and then the other awkwardly and blow both knees out.
Blow both of them. Because he fell in that, there was always that place, they had a dead spot where the carpet was even separated.
Yep.
And you had a gap in there.
Where I think it might have been third base.
Yeah,
somewhere
where
in
third
there
base,
around.
right.
Yeah.
And they had those damn carpets. They sewed the carpet because they were covering the infield, so they had those seams.
And they had like there they had these things with like giants. Just think of a stapler, but giant staplers.
Right.
That they used to clamp it down with.
Right.
And then try to smooth over and it doesn't work.
No.
And you would get caught in those staples.
You get caught in the staples and those seams.
Yeah.
How many careers, we'll never know.
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
We will never know how many careers were ended because of bad playing surfaces. Like I said.
Oh, yeah, if they did. I wonder if they
we
ever
got
did
the
a survey.
Kajana Carter thing.
I
remember
wonder.
that Billy Sims. And you could go on and on and on.
Yeah,
They're the ones we know of. How many ones we don't know?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. And you had guys, potentially Hall of Fame players. Billy Sims was on his way to the Hall of Fame. And I'm convinced Kajana Carter would have been had he not blown out his knee, and he was never not even remotely. He was a shell.
Yep.
I remember looking up his numbers, shaking my head. Because I remember him at Penn State.
Right.
And Kurt Warner was another great player out of Penn State.
He started off greatest,
and then it was, I believe it was an exhibition game that Kurt Warner blew out his knee, and it was a seam in the turf.
Yeah,
that he caught his knee.
That's terrible.
The foot got jammed.
Just thinking about it, it's sad.
Bad.
Yep.
Well, we'll try to lighten it up. We've got the 11 getting down into a deep cavern here.
We get ready for the NFL draft now. Maybe next week. Yeah, that's right before that Thursday.
Right.
Maybe we could do it.
We'll do our.
We could do our picks. Maybe we could do it.
Yeah, we'll do a mock.
I'm gonna get one of these here magazines. A few of them I've seen. I've seen both of them and a couple more, and it's maybe do our picks in the.
We'll do a mock.
Week.
We'll do our mock. We'll do a mock. Why not?
Fun.
Yeah, we'll put a first round mock together. That's easy. I mean, hey, we can't be. I mean, everyone else is doing them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so great about the draft.
Yeah.
Is that we could do mock. You can't be wrong.
No. I mean,
and
it would be nice to do and see how many we can get right.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think we should do it, and then we compare to see what.
I know we got one right.
I know we got one right off.
I'm going to stay with
we know Mendoza's going over the Raiders.
I'm going to put that on my mock for next week.
That's my number one. I don't think anybody's trading up to get him. Now, the only thing we don't know, but that's what's with trades.
Right.
But we can put that if we think there's going to be a trade, we can do that.
Yeah. And that's where you got to pay close attention to what's going on. There's teams thinking about moving back, stuff like that. Because some teams may do it. I do believe Washington is a team you got to watch. I even think the Browns.
I do too.
I don't know what they may do with that 6th pick. I don't know.
Somebody might want it. I mean, I think, but see, a lot of it is too. This is what's hard to gauge it, because a lot of the trades are during the draft. Because if certain players don't get drafted, like if for some reason if Jeremiah Love starts to drop, I think that's where you're going to get a trade. Like if Jeremiah Love doesn't get picked like top 3 or top 4, and somebody's going, we really need him.
Yeah, we come and talk to the Giants.
Then the Giants might get the phone call.
Yeah.
We want your pick, because they want to go after him.
And see, if it's Washington calling the Giants, they're not going to.
No, they ain't picking that phone up.
No.
They're going to see that.
That's
Washington.
In the same conference. You're not
that phone's
take that
not
guy.
getting picked up.
Yeah.
They're not picking up that call. Or they're going to say no.
You're right. But you had to
no. We already gave Saquon to the Eagles and gave him a Super Bowl. We can't give you our pick for because we don't want to see Jeremiah Love going by us.
But see what I'm looking at, you've seen how according to them, there's that music. I'll wait until after.
Yeah, that's right. Saturday Morning Sports Page. Back after this. Pat Lucia Daypo, Western Reserve Radio.
Please stand by for a special presentation of Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, Who do you meet? Answer: men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more.
The stations that always keep you in the zone.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today. Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Saturday morning sports page back.
Here we go.
There we go. That's it. Got to press the buttons.
Yeah.
Duh.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on from the foot. It's getting, I know I don't want to go down that rabbit, but we do. It's just like I said, I get just frustrated because you have great players playing and the field conditions should be better. It was a big complaint. NFL, they need to do something like right now with this.
Yes.
Move something, billions of dollars.
Yeah, so we don't see some of our greatest players. Enjoy watching, something happen. So
yeah.
Well, what I was going to say about Jeremiah Love before we went to break, and not just about Jeremiah Love, the position of running back. It was like for the last 4 or 5 years, maybe it might be a little bit longer. It seemed like it wasn't an important position. They act like, you just plug anybody in. But now it seems like it's starting to shift back when they seen the importance of guys like Jamar Gibbs. See the difference that Detroit offense became once they could run the football. You got the Rams with their running game. You've seen what Barkley did when he first came to the Eagles. You've seen the importance of the running game once again, and Kenny Walker showed exactly how important it was in that Super Bowl. So now what is the thing that NFL and most sports do? They know what the trends are, and they get back to it. And that's why I think the running back position is coming a big-time thing. You just don't let certain guys get by that can make big-time things happen. And I think Jeremiah Love, and I do think Jadarian Price, people are not thinking, but I think he's going to be a big-time player too. And to have two backs from the same school like that, that's something I think they're going to be. I think both of them will be first round. Well, I know Smith is.
Well, and that's what
Love will.
Love will be
without doubt.
A lot of people speculate that teams will not draft Jeremiah Love that high because they think price will drop. I don't know. I don't know with that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's a gamble.
I just think if the Giants
but
get
they
there,
think there's a expert. Everybody loves to speculate, but people believe that there's not a really big difference between those two backs. That it's razor thin, and so they think that you could get price lower. That you could get him like you might get him in later in the first round, and you could trade up, get him or early second round. I don't think he's going to the second round personally.
if he does, it'll be right off the top.
But it would be right
round.
if he doesn't get drafted in the first round, he goes early second. But there are teams out there that believe that they might be able to nab him and not have to take Love with a high pick. I think they're wrong. I think that if a guy, if you're, you saw it with Seattle. Now they let Walker go because they think that, they also have a good running back.
Yeah, in Charbonneau.
Right, Charbonneau. So, and they figure they'll draft one of these backs this year. We'll look at the best available backs. But there's allegedly there's a big gap between the two Notre Dame running backs and the rest of them. Supposedly.
Yeah.
But what I love about that is they're probably wrong because there's always that one running back.
I'm actually going to pull up running back for that.
Because there's always...
The thing I think that Love does better than Price when I just watch games, it's just completely just watching it, is Love is a better pass receiver out of the backfield. He's more fluid like a receiver. Price can catch the ball. There's no question about it, but I just think Love is much more like a receiver.
Here's your look. Jeremiah Love, number one. They rate him number one. Price, Jerry Price is number two. Now they have him going in this publication. This is the Lindy's Sports. They rate the overall class running back C-. And this gets because they believe that, after Jeremiah Love and say Price, there's a gap and the rest of these running backs, are okay. But here's how they rate them out. They have obviously Price. He's number two, Jeremiah Love 1. I'm going backward here. But number 3 is Coleman out of Washington, Jonah Coleman out of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Singleton from Penn State is rated 4th, along with the other running back out of Penn State, Katron Allen, who's 5. But now a lot of people this is where it's going to get interesting because a lot of people think Katron Allen could be one of your best backs coming out of the draft. I've heard his name.
Yeah,
no, he could be a difference maker too. And I love how they say, it's a C- quarter. I love how they rate these classes. They don't know. No one knows anything.
No.
Because you don't know until these guys actually play.
That's right.
But then I've been hearing great things about both Singleton and Allen out of Penn State. People are thinking, well, I'll get him in the 3rd round. And that's what they've got in this. They've got him projected. Nick Singleton is projected a 3rd rounder, and Katron Allen is a 4th rounder.
Yeah. Yep. I just.
And then there's Jamari Taylor out of Virginia. He's the 6th rated one. And Adam Randall out of Clemson is the 7th. Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M is 8. Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska is 9. And Rashul Fassan out of South Carolina is 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Robert Henry out of University Texas San Antonio. They got him 11th. And these are all 6th rounders. But so they think there's a big gap in the running backs where after about really 2 or 3. But this is the dilemma you have with, if you're like the Giants, is you like Jeremiah Love, but do you want to take a risk on a Katron Allen or Nick Singleton out of Penn State? Maybe you get them in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
But I think Jeremiah Love is a class to himself.
Yeah, I just do. I mean, it's his receiving skills.
And so is
things.
Price.
Yep.
Because everybody seems to have Price and Love in like one level. And I think both could be first rounders. Jeremiah Love will definitely be a first round pick. He will be a high. Could he be a top 5? Yeah, I think he could.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're GM per se, and you're looking at your line, say, well, I want a better line. I don't want it. I'd like to have Jeremiah Love, but our line is deficient, and I don't want to do what the Raiders did with Genty. When you get poor Ashton Genty went with the Raiders last year, had no line.
No, that's the only thing.
But he has the line this year, so hopefully
a lot better.
He'll be better because he'll have a better line.
Yeah, and that's the key. When they see that, and then the production out of the quarterback position would be key from either Cousins or if Mendoza's ready. But if you got better production out of the quarterback position, then that's going to open that up too. So we'll see. I mean, it's just too much of a talent to let go and allow not drafting him last year, the Raiders. So I think this is the year he's got to do something. But I think you just can't let. I think like I said, if I think the Giants are there with that draft pick and Love is there, I think they take him because I'm looking at them. They could run the football decently last year. They could. But to have a player of his caliber, they already had one. And to get it back, that's like a blessing. I mean,
that's where,
2 seasons out, you didn't have Saquon. Now you, on that 3rd season, you get another guy. He's younger, same type of 4.3 speed, big, just like a receiver, just like Saquon, to catch the ball. He can do all those things. He's athletic. He can do all the stuff you need. You got to take him because you already got the receiver. And I do believe you can pick up a receiver. And don't think they can't later on, like I said, after the June 1st, there's going to be some top veterans going around that can be that other receiver that they need there in the Giants. But they still got to draft one. They got to draft one too, though.
This wide receiver class, Lindy's rated A-. So they're telling us that this is really going to be a great wide receiver class.
See, what if Tate and Love is there? Now, do I want to take Tate because he'll fit right in as that number 2 he's always been, and he's big? That means your double covers go to the other guy, single covers to him.
You take Katron Allen, get him in the 3rd or 2nd round.
Yeah, you might can do that if he's still
if you want a Carnell Tate, because you know that Tate will really fit in with Malik Neighbors.
Oh yeah, that's why
Neighbors being the man, and then Carnell Tate would be the second guy, but then he'll be open more because they've got to double team Neighbors. So now you've got Tate will be more where his comfort zone is because he's used to being the number 2 guy. But Ohio State always able to get open. So the point is, if you're the Giants, do you sit, or do you take an offensive lineman, or you take offensive lineman later on? Because there's a lot of great offensive linemen coming out with this draft too.
Right. Well, the thing that I'm interested in, the back that I'm interested in, is a lot of people don't. Well, I know nobody don't really talk about him, but I've seen him a few times, and that's Mike Washington, running back out of Arkansas. Now I think he just played for Arkansas this past season, but before that he was at New Mexico, Buffalo. Yeah. And the guy is 200 and almost 30 pounds. He runs a 4.3. He ran faster than Jeremiah Love, and he can catch the ball too. So could he be a steal later on for a team with that type of size? Didn't get all the wear and tear.
Yeah. They rate him 12th in Lindy's, and they got him going in the 6th round.
See, I'm just wondering.
And they rate him as 6'2"1/4. Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas.
He's 6'2"?
6 even.
Oh, 6 feet, 200.
They got him
almost 25 pounds, maybe.
Yep, 6 feet even, 225. He's got a 4.6 40 time, and he's projected, at least is 6th round. So, but you're right.
That's if
he
you wanted
played
to
in
bank.
Buffalo and New Mexico State. Were bad, bad weather conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. Another guy I like is, and you've seen him in the national championship game, is that Roman Hemby for Indiana.
Yeah.
He ran the ball very hard. So, it's the guy that might could be a productive back. We have to see once this draft. You always find somebody. And I'm just interested to see. I'm just interested to see what happens.
And here you've got, Roman Hemley out of Indiana. Now they have him 7th rounder, 5'11", 204. Got a 4.5 speed. They have him going in the 7th round, projected.
Okay.
But I guess this is your dilemma if you are a GM. And then they got the kid from Ohio State. I thought was pretty solid, C.J. Donaldson, who's 6'2", 232. Doesn't look it. He's thick.
Mm-hmm.
But they got him going in the 7th round. But here, these are where you're looking at a lot of these running back, and they do running back by committee anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But do you look at some of these guys that you're thinking, do you take one of the guys later on, or do you take, depending on what the Giants have Scadaboo.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. Good court. He's a good running back, but you want another guy like a Jeremiah Love would be. And Jeremiah Love can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be a dual threat either way.
Yeah, which make me think, do they want to do that? Because will they hardly use Scadaboo then? I mean, I don't know, because he's a every down back, Love.
Love is, but it's the NFL never does that. I know he is, but they rotate him out. They like to rotate guys out anymore.
Yeah.
You're right. In the old days, Jeremiah Love would be a guy you could go every down and because he's going to break one. He's like that kind of guy.
That's what I'm saying.
And so, right. But now, do they bring in Scadaboo though I think they will probably bring.
I mean, you got to play him.
Right.
You're going to have both of them, but
you're going to have them both, and it's a matter of.
But it's like how Barkley is at Philly.
Yeah.
See, he gets guys to come in, but they don't.
Who's the guy that does come? Is it Gaines? Who's the backup?
No, he was. Now that's who we had the year before.
Right, the year before
he went to Pittsburgh.
Right, he ended up at Pittsburgh, but he was really good in Philly.
Yeah, Bigsby is going to be the guy. Tank Bigsby.
Right,
he showed once he got there.
Right,
he's going to be that backup.
That's it. So,
but he's going to. You still going to get Barkley with 20 something. When I'm saying he's going to be a guy like the Rams. What's the running back from Notre Dame that plays for the Rams? That's there now. They bring another back in, but he's the main. They bring in the guy from Michigan as the his backup, and they run them both. But Williams is his last name. He's going to get the majority of the carries. I just wonder, Scadaboo got to get carries.
No, they've got
they got Corbin and Williams.
Williams is the primary starter with the Rams, but Blake Corum gets a lot of the touches, and then they have Ronnie Rivers and Jaquez Hunter.
Yeah, those guys do. But the Corbin,
who's the Notre Dame guy?
Is the Williams.
Williams, okay.
Yeah, he's from Notre Dame, and that's the guy that gets 20-something carries.
Right.
I just don't, unless they're going to be primary running the ball, but if they have neighbors, they got to pass the ball. They got Jackson Dart. They're going to throw the football. So your main runner is going to have to be Love, but does that fit well with Scadaboo, who needs the ball? Because he gets a rhythm. They both are rhythm running backs. They need the ball. So do you go ahead and bypass that? They get another back. They get another back later.
That's what I'm thinking.
See, they get Carnell Tate if he's there.
They need another running back in New York. I mean, I like Scadaboo, don't get me wrong, but he's the type of guy that he's better when you can rotate. He can play, but then rotate him in, bring another guy in, and again,
if you get another rotational piece, I'm okay with that, but I don't think Love is your basic kind of rotational.
Right. No, and that's going to be the dilemma, right? And that's a good point. Do you want to spend a first round high pick on a guy that you're going to rotate with Scadaboo. No, I don't want to. I don't. I would trade. I guess you could trade Scadaboo, but you don't because he got a rookie deal.
Yeah,
that's why I don't think the Giants would go that direction because
I think you take Tate. They might even take Tyson. Let's say Tate is gone. Let's say somebody do take.
Yeah,
Tate
they could.
Before.
They could take.
They say, hey, I'm getting that guy.
They could take if they decide. But that's the other question: is if you're the Giants. Again, you look at, or do you look at this? Or if you're the Giants and you start looking at the other wide receivers, maybe you take the tackle out of. They talk about the one Fano out of Utah going to the Giants in one mock.
Yeah,
I could understand that.
It's hard to pass on that.
Hard to pass on that. And then, do you consider seeing who else drops? Because this is a pretty good draft. Maybe the kid from Cooper from Indiana will fall, and you get him in the second or the third round potentially. Yeah. Or you look at Chris Spell out of Louisville.
Mm-hmm. He's not bad.
No, he's not a bad.
But if Cooper is available in the second round,
I think you take him.
Yeah, because I don't think he'll go further than that.
No, they haven't projected as a second or
catches.
Third rounder.
Yeah, he makes big catches in big moments.
He's fifth overall. They got the kid Mekhi Lemon out of USC number 2, and Tyson out of Arizona State. They said he's another player.
Oh yeah, he's no joke.
And he's 6'2", 200, 4.4 speed. He's a projected first rounder. And then this KC Concepcion out of Texas A&M is another first rounder.
Yeah, but he's a slot guy, so
right.
But Neighbors is a wide out. He's not the slot. So.
Right, he's not the slot.
And you lost your slot too.
Yeah, they did.
Wendell Robinson is now with the Titans.
That's right. He left.
Yep. So, you're going to be looking at that. Or do they really shock stuff and say, wait, they didn't get nobody in a free agent, but let's say they did get a guy at tight end that developed and looked good last year for him. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah.
Johnson.
Number 84.
Yeah, he looked good, but you could bring in, what is his name? Sadiq from Oregon. Because he's he's a tight end with wide receiver skills. And you do that, 2 tights, Neighbors, and another receiver, that could be some problems too, because you're going to have matchup problems. Because he's he's 260 pounds, but he's running 4.4s out there.
Well, you see, and that's the other thing.
It's like a big receiver.
Right.
He's like Darren Waller. That's all Darren Waller was.
Yeah,
He's a tight end with that. But and people got to remember, he was a wide receiver in college.
Yeah, he could have. Right, Waller was
got
really
drafted as a wide receiver.
He had an unbelievable speed, tight end.
Yeah,
So he was definitely a fleet-footed. He could go.
Yep, and they had him for a little bit too.
They had it, and he had that injury. Then he retired. Then I guess he came back. He unretired.
Yep. So, I think a lot of it had to do with when he retired. He was going through a lot of
he had that
things with his wife.
They got divorced. The basketball lady. She played for, and I think she still.
Well, she was with Las Vegas at the time they were together. The Las Vegas team.
Yeah, she was a WNBA player. Mm-hmm. She still, I think, she's still in the league.
Oh yeah,
pretty good player.
Oh yeah,
and they were together, married, and then they got the divorce, and then I think
he had a lot of things.
He had a lot of personal issues going on, and I think he had to get away, had to retire and get away from it. And now that I think things settled down for him, he decided to get back in, which is great for him.
Yeah,
not so great for the Giants. But that said, bottom line is, he's still, I think, a great player. Waller could get out, run routes. He's big, he's strong, and he can run.
Yeah, no.
For a man his size, he's kind of a freak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
but
they get that guy from Oregon. That could cause.
But
there's so many ways they can go.
That could be right, and they have the existing tight end who's playing good, but that's where this draft can get interesting because, and this is the part about this draft is. When you break it down, there are actually a lot of good players in this draft. Mm-hmm. It might be a very good draft top to bottom, but it's not getting any juice, as they say, is because you don't have the quarterbacks. And since you don't have the quarterbacks, people aren't getting really worked up about Caleb Down and Reese and all these wide receivers. They're just looking at, well, it just doesn't have the interest. But if you break it down and you start looking at these guys and you look at your team and you know your team's needs, you're thinking, hey, wait a minute here.
Yeah, that's just
do
how
I
it is.
make you make a move?
But it is the quarterback thing because
Shedeur Sanders carried the draft last year. That was Shedeur Sanders' draft. That's what when you talk about juice, that was the juice of last year's draft was Shedeur.
Yeah, waiting for why is he being drafted?
And it just took a life of its own.
Yep.
And then you got everybody, when he dropped like that, you had people screaming and yelling, well, what the hell's wrong with the NFL? What are you letting a guy like that go down? Then there was all that, Shedeur's just sitting there minding his business, and some people getting they're blaming him. It's like, well, he's just
Yeah, and
he's
the thing
just
that's
there.
the problem is when they try to say, well, they wasn't really high. And this is the only time, I can't say the only time, but when I was really with Mel Kiper, when he was getting upset because the thing about it, there was nobody complaining about his mechanics, his nothing. They were talking about this guy has the skill level, this,
and
that.
he had all the starts.
Yeah, and he could show that he could throw and play under pressure, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
And then all of a sudden they were saying all these other negative things that came to justify what was going on. We know there was some type of conspiracy. I don't care what it is. There's no way. He don't have to be a first rounder, but there's no way he's a fifth.
No.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way he's a fifth rounder.
No.
You got guys that was going in front of him. No, he's not a fifth rounder.
He wasn't a fifth rounder.
If you want to give him second, you want to give him third, go ahead. But don't fifth. Come on.
No, not at all.
And I think the word was going around. Don't you draft him? Don't draft him. I really do because I can't see people just bypass him like that.
Well, you have to think that because you know, and I know that there's no way he should have dropped to the fifth round.
No.
With all the play, the fact that he has the genes, the dad, he's got the pedigree, the football, and he played good. And guy who looks it was good college, very good college quarterback. It wasn't and he played the games. He had all the starts. I always talk about, the guys not having the starts, like Richardson now with the Colts. They're going to trade him or find a way because he didn't have the starts. Same thing with the quarterback that the San Francisco drafted.
Yeah.
And now he's Dallas. Now he's with the Chargers.
Yeah.
The name escapes me.
And why am I forgetting this?
Why can't I? But the point is, they didn't have the starts in college.
Right.
We looked up
Shedeur.
Shedor's, and he had 50?
Yeah.
He had 50 starts. And over, because he had the Florida. Where did he go? To Florida A&M?
No, he played at
Jackson State. Okay, and then he went to Colorado.
Right.
So he had the starts.
Yeah.
They always talk about that,
And then they wanted to make it was at Jackson State, so it's not good. Okay, wait, let's just rewind it.
Well,
didn't Doug Williams start 4 years at Grambling?
Right.
That's the same conference.
Yeah.
The players are even better today than they was back then.
And Jerry Rice, I mean, come on. Let's not even go there. I mean, that's exactly right.
Yes, when they said that, it's a lower division.
No.
Okay. All right. It was for Doug Williams, too. It was low. He was terrible. Doug Williams should have been drafted. Then I guess that's what they're saying. I mean, come on. Just stop it.
We talked about that at length.
Let's go to our guy in Tennessee that's deceased now, but Steve McNair.
Yeah. Alcorn
State.
And look at his NFL career.
Yeah, he wasn't good. He wasn't that good.
No.
Come on, man. They need to stop this. They was making up fake excuses.
What they do.
That's why it irritated me so bad.
What they do, we talk about it a lot. These guys don't play a down of football, but boy, they get, they will find ways to either get a guy overdraft or not draft or underdraft because they find something about the guy they don't like. Dan Marino's a classic case.
Yeah.
He should have been a top 5 pick. He fell to almost to the end of he did fall to the end of the first round.
Right.
Okay. Look at that.
I got somebody your favorite. This is your favorite. Warren Moon.
Well,
He's not at Jackson State. He was at big time Washington.
Beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
He wouldn't even thought about being drafted as a quarterback.
No,
not even thought about it. That was one of your favorites. You just
he is my favorite.
You couldn't get it. You just couldn't understand that.
No, 1978. I remember well, like yesterday. Warren Moon, one of my favorite players, didn't even get drafted. We'll get back after this. We got to wrap it up. Got a lot to still get to. Saturday Morning Sports Page.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Want to know what I like best about high school sports? I love watching my son run on the field. I love the fact that since he's been playing high school sports, he's making better decisions. And I love knowing that with the proper equipment, education, conditioning, and coaching, high school sports here in Ohio are safer than ever before. That's something I really love.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, Reds. We're kind of all over the. We are always all over the board. That's our. Well, we're really focusing in on draft players.
I hope nobody drops like that this year.
No,
like Shedeur did. That was absolutely.
Randall Cunningham. We brought his name up in the break, but he was out of UNLV from 81 to 84. Went to Santa Barbara High School. He's from California. He was 6'4", 215. He was actually the second-round pick. He was a second-round pick in 1985. He was the 37th overall pick by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And he played 11 years with the Eagles. Then he had 3 years with the Vikings, a year with Dallas, and a year with Baltimore Ravens in 2001. And he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. And
he was an exciting player there at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
As an Eagle fan, that guy was.
He had 29,000 passing yards. He had a passing rating of 81%. He had almost 5,000 yards rushing. How is he not in the Hall of Fame? Wouldn't that be Hall of Fame numbers?
Yeah, and if he would have punted, and he did some games, had to, he probably would have led the NFL in punting because he was good at it.
Now, with the passing completion, I guess you could argue it was 56%, so it was not high.
Right.
But his ratio, he had 207 touchdowns to 134 interceptions, so that's okay, it seems. Passing rating 81, almost 5, rushing yards almost 5,000, 49-28. Let's give him 5,000. And he had almost 30,000 passing yards. He was 29-9. So he was almost 30,000 in passing. I know they put a lot of people in the Hall of Fame, but wouldn't that kind of qualify?
Yeah, he'd be one of those guys that be, years that went by and
maybe they'll
might not
ultimately
be
put him
living.
in.
I hate
hopefully
that.
when he's alive.
Right, I hate when that happens.
Like Kenny Stabler, they put him in after he died.
Yeah.
Okay, you couldn't put him in earlier.
Yeah.
No, the families are getting
I mean,
can't you put him in when they're alive?
Yeah, and then the thing about it, he won big games. You can look at his stats; that was good, but he won big games and big moments. When he played.
Oh,
Stabler.
Yeah, Stabler did. Oh,
and
yeah.
And that's why I say, how does that go? I can understand he didn't go right away, but come on.
People believe that he was a Raider, and there's belief out there
because they don't identify
they don't want
with
Raiders,
Houston or any of that. It's he's a Raider.
He's a Raider, and Stabler didn't get in all those years because they don't like Al Davis because he sued the league back in the day in 82 when about the move to L.A. and all that, and that the league doesn't like him, and there's that belief that they like to keep the Raider players out of the Hall of Fame, even though, but Stabler definitely should have been in the Hall of Fame a lot earlier than he got in.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, guy, and I know I'm kind of biased because it was idol of mine, but I even always thought Jack Tatum should be in the Pro Football, but we know that would never happen because of the situation with Darryl Stingley.
No, it never happened.
And he was a guy that wasn't real. I mean, it's not that he was surly; he just didn't really talk to the press. He was a guy that came, took care of business, but they blackballed him. They said that didn't happen. Oh yeah, if you look up his last season, I think he was with the Houston Oilers, and I think he led the league in interceptions, and I think he was near the top in tackles. And then all of a sudden, his contract was up, and nobody else wanted to sign Jack Tatum. He had playing. He could still play.
He could, and that was the thing too with Jack Tatum. I think sadly, they didn't want him.
Yep.
They kept him out of the league.
Yep.
I do. I think there was some.
All certain
I'll
guys.
speculate, and I think that in a roundabout way, that they did in a roundabout way, not come out and say, but
Blackballed him out?
Yep.
Yeah, it's two guys that played the safety position, I think, were blackballed out of the NFL. And it's Jack Tatum. And if they remember, a guy named Chuck Cecil.
Yeah, Chuck Cecil from Chicago.
He used to knock guys
he
out
did.
And then tell them about it. And they didn't like the type of game he played. But that's
he got
how he was.
suspended for that, too.
Yeah.
Because I remember Ditka was on.
He played for the Cardinals at the time when he got done. I don't think he was with the Packers no more. I think Chuck Cecil went to the Cardinals, or maybe it was flipped. But I know they blackballed him out the league because he wasn't even old. He was a guy that could still play, didn't have no injuries and nothing. No team would pick him up. And how can a guy like that not be picked up?
Well, because they didn't.
They didn't want
the
him
league
in the league.
Didn't want him in the league.
And I think it was like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, they showed where he was an assistant coach because he couldn't even get a coaching position. But he finally got in the league with somebody. I forgot who it was that he was with as an assistant coach. And he had been trying to coach for the longest. And I think he went to one of these, not the UFL now, but the UFL that they had before, coaching a little bit. And then he finally got into the league. But that is just sad. When they have it out for a person, it just seemed like, man, they could do anything they want to him.
That Jack Tatum had the Darryl Stingley happened in 1978. When you watch that hit on TV, and you see the replay and you watch that hit, it's really not a dirty hit.
No.
It's not. I mean, it's horrible. It was a horrible tragedy for Darryl Stingley and his family. It was terrible.
But it wasn't a dirty hit.
But when you look at that hit, especially then,
right,
that was
he came across the middle.
He came across the middle. He went up for the ball, and Tatum hit him.
Right.
And you watch that hit. It's not. and people now go, oh, held with the helmet. Back then, that was legal.
Right.
That was a legal hit back then. And I believe, I could be wrong, I don't think he even got flagged for that.
No, because it wasn't illegal.
It
then.
wasn't a legal hit.
That's
it
the
was
same thing for Chuck Cecil when he was
Right.
knocking guys out. It wasn't illegal.
No, it was not. That's the thing. See, what happens is, what happens that occurs in the 70s, what happened, people look back now, and, oh, that's terrible. That was, no, but back then, that was a legal hit.
And
now the game
nobody
is,
says it either back then because that's the game was
that
played
was the
that
game
way.
was played that way. I mean, the one Raider guy, Atkinson, over the middle clothesline because it was legal.
Yeah.
He was known for it, and
Right.
it was a legal hit. I mean, that was okay back then.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I know people look back and want to point and start saying, oh, that was terrible. They should have been suspended. They should have been. No, that was legal. That's the way they played the game back then.
Yeah.
Now you want to say it was a dirty? Well, okay, but back then that was all legal.
Right. Right.
And the hit on Stingley was happening in 19.
That was a football play.
That was a football play.
I'm sorry, that wasn't illegal. It was a
No.
clothesline. It was nothing. It was just a hit. A guy that came up and said, "You're coming across the middle. You got to pay."
That's what it was.
It's people who said the hit on Sammy White in the Super Bowl by Tatum and Skip Thomas was a dirty hit.
No.
That was right on time. He got the ball
Right.
was there. And
No, that was
all
right.
impact right at the same time.
That was right.
It was legal.
That was legal. That happened. The Darryl Stingley incident happened in this exhibition game.
Yeah, yes, it was.
August 12th of 1978.
And that-
Sadly, though, Tatum only played 3 years after that.
Right. And he was at the top of his
And he was still he could still play. He was only, when he was basically, he was only 32. He had just turned 32 in November of 1980. Jack Tatum turned 32 years old. That was his last year
And he was
with
in
the
Houston.
Oilers.
Right.
In 1980, that was his last year. He had just turned 32 at the end of that year, and he was done.
Yeah. And had a Pro Bowl type season.
Yeah.
And then never that was it.
Right.
How do a guy that's it? And was still playing and was trying to get in the league with certain teams and they had to turn him away. That's because who was it at that time? Was it Rozelle?
Yeah, Rozelle would have been the commissioner.
He probably said, nope. He's done. No, he's done. He's not going to play no more.
We don't know that to be fact, but we believe that.
Oh, I believe it.
And I do too.
I
won't.
Because I just
Yep.
got coaches in any league, but the NFL want good football players. They can help you win.
Yep.
And if you're playing at the top of your game, they'll take anybody they can get in there.
Yep.
If they think they can revive their career. Yep. You're going to tell me this guy's playing at the top of his game, you say, oh, no. They wouldn't even allow Houston to re-sign him.
No.
And that's where he was at.
He was at Houston. He was released after the 1980 season. He retired after being released by Houston.
Yeah.
And then he came back and worked for the Raiders organization and got a land developing. And sadly, he had diabetes, got a staph infection 2003 in his left foot that was amputated. I remember that.
Yep.
He had a prosthetic device, and he had kidney issues, problems. He was awaiting a kidney transplant at the time of his death. He died of a heart attack in 2010 at the age of 61. So he just had, sadly, just many, many health problems after he got out, but he still could have given you a couple more years in the league.
Yeah.
I just don't think he went to Houston, and I think nobody was going to touch him after that.
Well, there's a lot of guys,
Sadly.
like you said something earlier, and I know it was happening in the Raiders organization because it was guys like Lester Hayes, and then all of a sudden they just got rid of him.
Yep.
Just got him out of the league. And it's just, it was just crazy.
People believe that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of fans, Raider
I believe
fans
that.
especially,
Yep.
believe that the league always kind of had let's just say, kind of looked at them and like, those guys are kind of like, we don't want them in the league too long.
Yeah.
They're dirty. They're dirty.
Remember they used to say the criminal element?
Yep.
They used to say that for
Yep.
them. Oh, they got the criminal element.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with Ted Hendricks. He's kept putting all
Yeah.
of a sudden, no more Ted Hendricks. Get him out of here.
Get him out.
He was the same Ted Hendricks in Baltimore.
Right.
He's playing the same way with the Colts.
Right. Well, they
came there.
Right.
did it. He just did it even more.
Right.
Because the guys was just loose and goose.
Right.
You know, Lyle Zeta was a maniac in Denver. He was even crazier as a Raider.
Well, you know what it was, too? I think, in a way, I hate to say, but I think the media projects that. Like, they're not any different. The players are playing the same. It's just now they're the Raiders.
Yeah.
Now they're the bad guys. So it's like, oh, now they're dirty. Now they're this. Now they're cheap shot. Now there's this, and this. Well, they were the same player. They haven't changed the way they play. Like Ten Hendricks, and you just brought it up. Lyle Alzado, all those guys were the way they played. Denver
played the same.
And Hendricks was the same player.
You know who a guy that played for the Raiders? He fit perfectly, but he was nuts. He probably is nuts now. Bill Romanowski was a nut at the 49ers. That guy was crazy.
He was the one that spit.
Yeah, somebody
J.J. Stokes.
Yeah, yep. On Monday Night Football.
His face. Monday Night Football is right there on
you see it.
TV.
Yeah.
You could actually pull it up on YouTube. It's in there, but you could actually see him.
He was at San Fran then.
He was at He was at San Fran, and he spit at J.J. Stokes right on TV.
Oh wait, no, he might have been with the Raiders.
He was
then.
with the Raiders.
Or Denver.
Stokes,
was he at Denver?
He might have been Denver. I have to pull that up.
Yeah.
But Stokes was with the 49ers.
Right. So he had to be with
that's
Denver
where
or the Raiders.
Romanowski spit at him, and I think he might have either been with, Denver.
Yeah, that's what I'm
when he
thinking too.
spit at J.J. Stokes right on TV.
Yep.
And it was plain as day. It was
you
national TV.
Romanowski was nuts. And I mean that, but he played football. That guy could
That's
play.
how he was a great player.
Yes, yeah. I wanted Romanowski all the time on my team.
He was a wild man. He was a great player.
Yes, he was. Well, he always had the wild look in his eyes. Like
he did.
Man, is he on something? That guy looked crazy. Because I always look at it. He take his helmet off. I said, man, my nephew was so funny. He said, something's wrong with that guy. Something's wrong with him. You don't look like that normally. I said, that's the way he always looked. You know, he'll come on for an interview, talk, just like had that.
Yeah,
like,
he
I'm
was.
a wild.
He always had that. You're right.
He had that look.
Romanowski always kind of had that really kind of like. He always had that look.
I just don't know why they like to eliminate guys like that from the game. I love Doug Plank when he came out of Ohio
State.
And he goes to Chicago. That's what the 46 defense was named after from Plank. And him and Fensick would blow your lights out.
They were.
And they even had the other guy, I think he was from Ohio State? Yeah. Sean Gale?
Yeah, Sean Gale was another Buckeye.
All those guys was on the team at the same time.
Yep, they all were.
Sean Gale was a backup.
Yeah.
But still would play all the time.
He was a good player.
And then when they actually just like eliminated Plank out of the league, then Sean Gale took over.
Yeah.
As they say. But that was just, I mean.
Yeah, Doug Plank didn't have a very long NFL career.
No.
I'm not sure whether or not his might have been more on the injury part.
It might have been.
Because he played with the Bears from 75 to 82. And then he ended up going to 75 to 82 is 8 years. Then he was with the Chicago Blitz in 84.
Okay.
Now he was like 31, 30. Yeah, he was 31.
Oh, he's towards it could have been
when he either retired. I know Plank had injuries, so
that might have been more injuries.
And he might have been more of an injury than any. But Plank was just a hitter, man.
Yeah. And sometimes you've seen that they wanted to try to eliminate some of those guys out the game, but that's what made the game great because it was more like a gladiator sport, and that's what you looked at it as. So, without the big hits, I don't think it draws my attention to watch football or even want to be a part of that if I didn't see that collisions that I used to see. That stuff used to like amaze me. The guys even got up.
Plank played at Ohio State. He was a 12th round pick.
See, they was
291 overall, 1975. He was drafted in the 12th round by the Bears.
And I think that's when they was at 12 rounds because they went
Oh,
from
yeah.
17. Well, it was higher than that, but
Right.
I remember 17.
Well, 17 was 56 when Starr got drafted. This is 12th round and 75. We could probably look that up.
See when it
draft
went down
history with the rounds. But
what
yeah.
is it now? How far do we go?
7.
Is it just 7? Okay.
They go 7 now.
Yeah.
But we could look that up. But the history of the NFL draft, how the rounds at one time were just astronomical.
Oh, yeah. Those guys used to be sleeping in the hotel and in the lobby. Everything's
Well,
still doing it.
I mean,
it wasn't like it is.
It wasn't on TV. Like the 83 draft wasn't even, I don't even remember that being on. It might have been on during the day. It was a weekday. I know that because I was working.
Yeah.
And I found out about all that after the fact.
Morning time.
I put on ESPN when I got home, and then they started telling you who got drafted what. And that was big. 83 was the Elway draft.
Yep.
He was going to play for Steinbrenner and the Yankees, and they drafted him anyway. And he said, I'm not going to go to the Colts. I'm not going to play for Irsay and the Colts. And my father, Jack Elway, was the father who coached him, said, you're not going to play there. And he was good. Steinbrenner had him up, that 1983 piece. Was it Marvin Demoff, his agent, was the guy that was in the piece. He's saying that he's in with Steinbrenner. And Steinbrenner had him in, and they were showing him the 1985. He was like, I'm going to have Elway in the minor leagues. I'm going to bring him up. And there's this guy, Mattingly, who's really good. And I got it, Mattingly and Elway playing in the outfield. Like, that's what Steinbrenner wanted to sign and did sign him in a minor league. And then he was ready to play baseball for the Yankees. And then ultimately, but then Ernie Accorsi was the GM at the time, was upset. He was in the piece. He said, I could have got more for him during the draft day, but the owner wouldn't let me trade him. Irsay wouldn't let him make the trade. And then Irsay waited later on and traded him. He goes, and Ernie Accorsi's great. He goes, I could have got more than that, but Irsay wouldn't let me do it. And then Irsay got Hilton and another player, but he goes, I could have, poor Ernie Accorsi was like beside himself. He goes, I had a better deal with Dallas. He had like 3 other teams willing to give him a lot more, and then Irsay pretty much gave him away to Denver.
Yep. It's so funny.
In fact, when we were talking about the busts, that's listed in the book as far as one of the busts, and bad trade, NFL busts, and one of it is that trade.
Yeah, that was dumb.
The Elway trade is in here. Colts' decision to draft Elway number 1, but they drafted Elway, but they got the backup quarterback Mark Herman, and they trade Chris Hilton, who's that offensive lineman, actually from Northwestern, was a good. He played a long time in the league. He's actually a pretty good offensive lineman.
He was.
And they gave up a first round pick in '84, and they got Ron Solt for him. And then he ended up in Indianapolis because Irsay moved the team in '84 in the middle of the night to. But that was,
rest his soul.
Yeah.
He was.
Oh. Well, that was then the son took over.
Yeah. Both of them. I mean, he was kind of, and the son was worse though. He was really.
Yeah, he was. He had
addiction
issues, well documented,
and it was way back. Even when his dad was, in his younger years.
Well, he had
a lot of stuff
right. And that was, like I said, they had some issues. Sadly, he wasn't. I don't think the son was as flamboyant as the father.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think, and
he did a lot of off the wall things.
He was a little like he had the guitar, the band. He was kind of into stuff, but the father was just. I mean, I just hear these stories about like the father, and it was like,
Yeah.
Well, he was the one that switched. They flip-flop franchises. He had the Rams.
Yes, that's right. And Rosenblum.
Rosenblum had the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they flipped the franchises. They just said, okay, you're going to be the Rams. Rosenblum got the Rams. Irsay got the Colts. They just flipped them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And then, you went from there. But, I mean, but they said he was, I remember and that's why Elway didn't want to play for the father. He didn't like Irsay. He didn't want to play there.
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of people had controversies.
Yeah.
I mean, even back to the Burt Jones days.
Burt Jones, and they said that the Memorial Stadium, they blamed that on the city of Baltimore because they moved to Indianapolis because they didn't want to pay to renovate this. They wanted the city to pay to renovate the stadium, and the stadium wouldn't pass the referendum. So no, we're not going to do it. Or say move the team to Indianapolis.
And that's a familiar story because Mayor White in Cleveland did the exact same thing. And that's why my brothers used to say, people hated Modell. But he said, one of the things he said about Modell, he tried to get a stadium.
He did.
And he tried hard, he said, and they would not grant it for him at all. Then they move, and then they go get another stadium. I mean, that stadium was horrible to go. I used to go to the games all the time, and if you didn't get the right spot, you'd be looking around a pole, you're all kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst stadiums.
I mean,
Yeah, it was bad. And it smelled.
Oh, yeah. Smelled
Municipal Stadium just smelled
a lot of
urine and vomit.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. And
that's what it was.
And it was strong. Baby.
And bad. And odor and musty.
Well, that was bad.
I remember, look, I went to Yankee Stadium back. My father took friends of mine and my father. We all went down. My buddy's father, all of us went down to the Yankee doubleheader, Oakland A's, back when they played doubleheaders, a Sunday doubleheader. Probably 1966, when the Yankees weren't any good. We got great seats, 7 rows up, from first base. Great seats because the team stunk. Yankees were really bad then. We watched the game, doubleheader. Games got over quick, but the stadium stunk. It smelled.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium was like an old, musty, moldy, crappy odor to it. And they renovated it in 1976 or 73 to 70. But the point is, that was an old stadium that smelled. But Municipal Stadium and Yankee Stadium were about the same age and built roughly around the same time.
Yeah, I guess they forgot. Fans said, I got to go to the restroom. But you know what? Forget it. I'm not going. I'll just go right here. Just forget it. Because it was horrible up there in Cleveland. I used to go. It was bad. It was bad, but that's what it was. It was Cleveland Browns football. That's the one thing I used to love being in that stadium. If the game was a big game, that thing be rocking.
Oh no, it would.
I always thought it was going to cave in.
No, they
because they would have that stadium.
Yeah, that
moving. It was rocking.
Yeah, Municipal Stadium was built July 1st. It opened up July 1st of 1931. Yankee Stadium, I believe, was also opened up about 10 years earlier, 1921. Or so, yeah. So they were old stadiums, and they smelled.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just musty odor.
Can't have that.
And it was just Yankee Stadium was reeked. But New York City smelled. We used to go down to New York City.
Oh, if you go
I used to come home and our clothes smelled. And my mother would say, okay, we get ready to go to, we're going to go to bed, get ready, take the clothes and wash them because they smelled. They were from New York City. You were in New York City, you smelled. New York City did smell. You came home and you smelled.
It was an overcrowded place.
Yeah, it was overcrowded. Still is, but the point is, and then you went to Yankee Stadium and that smelled.
That's why I tell people they go to California. One of the dirtiest places I've ever been to is Hollywood. And Hollywood is not that place. You would think it'd be just
you think it would be really
pristine, but it's not.
No,
at all. It's some crazy happenings in Hollywood.
Yeah, I believe it.
Some stuff I just couldn't believe it. I would like to go and see it again now just to see, but I'm sure it's even more people.
And it's
probably
actually
really
California is really with the homeless out there.
It's sketchy, boy.
It's really
out there.
bad.
Yeah,
it's sad. Those cities are just, San Francisco and L.A. are not good with the homeless.
Could be dangerous.
Situation. Very dangerous. You got to be real careful. Well, anyway, that's the show. Saturday morning sports page. I'm Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Joining me as always. Do it again next week. Do the draft. Well, started it. We got a lot. We'll do our mock.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Do not drink it. Do not try it. Stay sober. Buckle up. Have a great and a safe week.
Someone's got to set the tone out there, boys. Someone's got to set it.
The station that sets the tone for Youngstown Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio. WRDB, The Scourge.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, it's Ready to Bet here on Saturday. Matt Brown and Mike Samich for the next 3 hours going to talk some golf. Actually, a lot of golf, I would imagine, over the next 3 hours. But we're going to hit on everything going on out there in the sports world. We got horses. We got basketball. We got Aaron Halterman joining us. Lou Finicaro going to talk some UFC. We got a UFC card tonight as well. And then Michael Rathburn going to join us as well. Mike Samich, hopefully there's some drama. Maybe there'll be some drama. But right now, Rory McIlroy playing some exquisite golf and holds a 6-stroke lead over the next closest competitor.
Yeah, as I was watching the Masters yesterday and watching Rory down the stretch, all I could think of was my play last time we were out at the golf at Las Vegas there. Yeah. I was just dominating the back line. Yep. No, Rory's doing things that people aren't supposed to be able to do. We talked about this last week, right? What was the mentality of Rory coming into this? Got the monkey off his back last year at the Masters. How was he going to respond? Well, he's going to respond by playing loose and free and looking ridiculously confident every time he is standing over the golf ball. You kind of realize how big that monkey was after he tried for a decade to get it off his back. And now the first time we see him playing free at Augusta, we see him come out and put this performance on. It's going to be fascinating to see how he attacks the course today. I would assume he doesn't change anything. I think the round 4, you may see him start to just play for pars because that's as good as a birdie when you're up 6. But I think today he stays aggressive.
Yeah, it's you can't really sit back today, I don't think. But like you said, I mean, you also at the same time don't have to be ridiculously aggressive today. You don't have to take on the par 5s if you don't want to, if you feel like that lead is where you want it to be. Of course, he's being chased right now by Sam Burns and Patrick Reed. They are both 6 strokes back. Justin Rose, Shane Lowry are sitting at 5 under, as is Tommy Fleetwood. And, you know, it's one of those things where you look at this and is it over? I mean, Mike, there are obviously big numbers to be had out there on this course. We've seen it already this week. We've seen there was one hole on day 1 where 4 different guys quadded it, including Bob McIntyre, who, you know, let his feelings be known with a finger that's in the middle of the 5 on one of the hands. And, you know, it's that can happen. It just kind of doesn't feel like it's going to happen with Rory, does it? I mean, it's if this was any of these guys, as they, you know, if you're watching the Masters, listening to us as they scroll down the leaderboard right now, if it was any of these other guys at the top, other than maybe a Scotty Scheffler or a Xander or something like that, I mean, you'd go, okay, this is still in play. I kind of don't feel like this is still in play.
I agree with you. I mean, I would love to come on here and say there's going to be drama tomorrow. We're going to see something crazy happen. But to your point, like, yes, there are big scores out there, but the big scores come into play when you're taking chances. Mm-hmm. And at this point, if Rory has the opportunity to make a decision, okay, do I lay up or do I go for it? The choice is to lay up pretty much every single time now, because going for it is what puts the quads in play, the triples in play. And just to kind of put into perspective what he has done here, right? He is 12 under with a 6-stroke lead. If he goes 3 under for the rest of the tournament, you need back-to-back 67s from one of 2 people to be able to catch him.
Yeah.
That is extremely difficult to do on this golf course. You need Rory to play even par or worse for the rest of the tournament, and someone chasing him to play 2 of the best rounds of their life to be able to catch him.
Right, and that's the thing, right, is I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, he had the round of the day yesterday at 7 under. Tyrrell Hatton had a 6 under, and that was it. There was not another 6 under out there on the course. I mean, there were 2 5 unders between Cam Young and Patrick Cantlay, And that was it. And then it was, so, I mean, the 5-unders, the 6-unders, the 7-unders just aren't there. They're just not out there. They're not to be had. And so, par's a good score now for Rory. I mean, it is going to take someone to come after him, if he can just get pars on holes. And so we'll see. And it is, there are guys. So we mentioned the people that are trailing him. There are definitely dudes that have game. Patrick Reed has a long history at Augusta. Sam Burns is one of the best birdie makers there is on tour. Now, he's also one of the best double bogey makers there is on tour, but he's one of the best birdie makers that there is on tour. Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, Cam Young, Wyndham Clark. I mean, these are all real pedigree dudes that are coming after him. But, Mike, they have to play differently than he does, like what you just mentioned. They do have to go for it every single time. They do have to keep their foot on the gas if they honestly think that they have a chance to win this tournament. We will see when they get out there what their style is today. Maybe these guys are content. If you're Wyndham Clark and you hadn't had the greatest last couple of years and you're sitting T7 right now and you go, man, I'm 8 strokes back. Am I really going to go get Rory? Maybe Wyndham Clark doesn't take chances. Maybe Wyndham Clark is perfectly fine with a top 5, right? The big paycheck, the top 5 in the Masters, something to build on for the rest of the season. I bet you there are some of these dudes that aren't going to be playing reckless out there today because they understand the realness of this, right? Which is not only do I have to have an unbelievable round, but also one of the best golfers in the world also has to come back to me.
Well, you mentioned Wyndham Clark, T7. The important part is the 8 back. Like the T7's great, congratulations. But if you look at other years of the Masters, T7 means you're like 3 back.